thinking and what do you expect to happen in that first innings?
Just generally, I think bowling first in the morning, you get a little advantage with a little draw in the wicket. So that's why we decided to bowl first.
You're looking to restrict them. I'm thinking with the dew that you mentioned,
So
you're
we
looking
welcome
for
you to
conditions
the
to be better batting second. What kind of score are you looking to chase?
I think anything 150 and under is good.
150 and under. Best of luck.
Thank you so much.
All right, absolutely. So, Jonathan, you're going to have to bat first. What's your comfort level batting first on the pitch?
No, it's fine. We could do whatever, but our choice was to bowl first as well because looking at the pitch some moisture and it's gonna flatten out at the end. But still, we're gonna take the opportunity to bat first as well.
And to what extent, we're in the back end of the tournament, the playoffs, there's a lot more pressure. To what extent does scoreboard pressure for the team batting second? How much does that play into your thinking?
Yeah, I know it's a pressure situation, but I try to keep the guys calm as well. Just take the game as a normal game, and we just try to put a good score on the board.
Okay, fantastic. Best of luck. Right, so the news here from the center is that the Atlanta Fire have won the toss and they've decided to have a bowl.
So we want to welcome you to the Philadelphians and the Atlanta Fire clash. Welcome to the Super 8. And of course, they call it the Atlantic Super 4. The reason being the Philadelphians, New Jersey Somerset Cavaliers, the Atlanta Fire, and the Atlanta Lightning in one group. With the news, the Philadelphians has been asked to bat. Ryan Scott, and it looks like Derek Narain is out in the middle. And as customary, it looks like Stephen Taylor has been given the ball. So we are all set and ready for second day of play. And we're coming to you from pitch, in fact, field number 1. So expect a lot of action in this game as the Philadelphians haven't been sent in to take on the Atlanta Fire. And Brian, I'm joined with, alongside me, Brian Walters. Brian, welcome, good morning, and welcome to another Super 8 clash.
Welcome back to Texas, Lenny. Really good to have you here. And this is going to be a mouth-watering clash. We're at the business end of the tournament. Stephen Taylor, new ball in hand. A unicorn in some ways in that he is able to bowl even though he's a spinner. Bowls within the power play over is very effective. And look, he's bowling to two lefties, so it's not surprising between Derek Narayan and Ryan Scott that you want that off spinner turning the ball away from them. Delicious start here.
So Derek Narayan has been sent at the top of the order. And you're right on that, Brian. That Stephen Taylor would love the advantage of bowling and getting the ball to turn across the right-hander. Already one slip in place. And we saw Derek Narayan. He's probably come in here for Rajdeep Darbar, who has not really given them the kind of solid start that it probably would have needed. And so Derek Narayan always hovering up between 1, 2, and 3. Still looking for that first run. Good start here from Stephen Taylor.
Stephen Taylor, bang on target, exactly where you want the ball to begin. Right on an off-stump line. Aaron Jones, captain at first slip, will remain interested in that line.
So big appeal. Umpire Billy Taylor is not convinced, and things are on the way here. The Philadelphians having lost the toss. Captained by Jonathan Fu.
Stephen Taylor working very quickly through this over, Lenny. We're not even able to get a chance to get our comments in.
So ball into the offside. Fielder will come in. Narayan will get off the mark, but it took him some time. Good bowling here from Stephen Taylor.
A great start. Anytime you can have a spinner ball inside the power play, of course, only 2 fielders allowed outside the circle. Those 2 fielders down at long on and deep mid-wicket. And you've gotten away so far with 5 deliveries, only 1 run scored. Ryan Scott, you know, will be looking to change things as he gets on strike for the first time.
So Ryan Scott, we know he plays very aggressive. It doesn't matter who you are. And he's and Ryan Scott is the type of bowler, he doesn't play the game with name. I think he plays the game on merit, and just his attacking nature is to really score quickly. And the game of T20 cricket, the first 36 balls really propel you to go even harder. Oh, full toss doesn't do too well with that. Stephen Taylor might be lucky. So the first over comes to a close. A tidy one from Stephen Taylor. It's 1 for no loss. So we've seen a very good over from Stephen Taylor, only conceding one. We saw Narain being held up for a while as Cornet Dry, as expected, Brian, given the new ball, and why not?
Cornet Dry, a brilliant opening bowler. You know, I've seen him over the years, Lenny. Bowling from the highway end, which is the southern end of the ground here. Looking to bowl now into Derek Narain.
So Narain into the offside, and Brian, you'd want to think that Cornet Dry at this level, at the minor league level, he's such a quality bowler with 23 wickets in the season.
Tremendous bowler. I've always said he's the stereotypical fast bowler for me. Very tall, about 6'4", hits the deck hard. If there's any life in the pitch, he can find movement, definitely gets bounce. But he's up against two relatively aggressive batters here. Right arm over the wicket.
So looking to go through the onside, big appeal, umpire Brian Kane. And one of the things we've seen yesterday, Brian, I know you were not on pitch number one. There were several direct throws yesterday that really got batsmen out, and we've begun that way pretty well this morning.
Absolutely. Looking at this replay, yeah, for me that's high, bouncing over the top. I think Brian Kane unmoved for that reason. And then look at this, coming into your picture now. Direct hit from, he had a stump and a half to aim at, he hit the middle stump. That is actually great work in the field. So to your point, Lenny, direct hits, looks like the fielders are on top of their game here in this tournament.
And you gotta love those lighted stumps, even
Yes.
even in broad daylight.
Exactly.
It has an effect.
Oh,
I
my
could
goodness.
imagine. I think tonight you and I need to stay back until it gets dark.
And then just light them up just to see what it looks like.
So Ryan Scott comes into strike. Cornet.
Look at this. He's going to be aggressive because 8 delivers in. There's only 2 runs on the board. You know Ryan Scott wants to get things moving. He's looking to attack Cornet Dry, I think.
So ball goes down the leg side, eludes the keeper. The keeper may have touched the ball, so the reason why it slowed up, but down the leg side. We'll wait and see. Could be another couple of leg bys. In fact, a couple of wides.
Yeah, 3 wides there. 3 runs given away. I'll tell you what. There have been 5 runs scored, and 4 of them are extras. So 1 run off the bat in 9 deliveries, 8 of which were legal. And so a long way to go here before the Philadelphians move into top gear. But you know with each one of these deliveries, Ryan Scott is getting sort of tuned in and looking to get the attack going. And I know he's going to want to attack Cornet Dry sometime in the next few deliveries.
Ball not timed well. Bit of a miss hit, but he gets a single and Scott is on his way.
So yeah, that ball kind of rushed onto him. Mentioned the amount of bounce that Cornet Dry is able to generate, and he got definitely a good bounce there, Ryan Scott. Generally very good on the short ball, but not timing this one properly. Luckily for him, it just spooned over Aaron Jones at mid-wicket, and they were able to run through for that quick single.
So Narain comes back into strike. This is what's gone for 5 so far. We've seen 3 wides off the bowling of Cornet Dry. He runs in again. And Narain, top edge into the onside, easy catch. And the first wicket goes down. Narain gone. Cornet Dry strikes.
Well, I talked about the fact that he gets good bounce and very aggressive, hostile type of a bowler. I'll tell you what, this ball rushes onto Derek Narain, not able to get control of it, and only succeeding in spooning a relatively simple catch. Lenny, you and I could go out there and take that right now. And here we're seeing the replay. Short delivery, trying to drag it from outside the line of off stump. That might have been what he would prefer that he would not have done. And the captain, Aaron Jones, with the simplest of catches at mid-wicket. So the first wicket down. Derek Narain only able to minimally trouble the scorers. 1 run against his name in 8 balls faced. Score is 6 for 1.
So Sivaram Swarna comes to the middle. Replaces Derek Narain. We've seen an early strike from Corner Dry into his first over. He's picked up the wicket of Derek Narain. Easy catch for Aaron Jones. And Swarna comes in to strike. Fishing outside the off stump. The ball goes through former West Indies wicketkeeper Jamar Hamilton. Comes out of the little island of Anguilla.
Anguilla, absolutely. One of two West Indians who've played for the West Indies who've come out of that island. Who is the second, Lenny?
I'm surprised. I'm surprised you're giving me such a hard question, Brian. We're only into the power plays, and you're bowling pace at me. So ball peels off the outside edge. Pinar comes into play and Swarna gets off the mark. So that will complete the second over. And after two, tidy start here for the Fire. And after two is 7 for 1. So Taylor will continue. Very tidy first over from Taylor. Only gave away ones. Sivaram Swarna bats at number 3. We've seen the fall of Derek Narain. Ryan Scott has faced a couple of balls. And the Atlanta Firebrand will be quite happy with the toss and the way they have made a decision to bowl first. It has gone pretty well.
Interesting now, Stephen Taylor will be bowling to the right-handed Sivaram Swarna. So that ball, if there's any turn, will be turning into him. Look out for the big shots on the leg side.
Yeah, I've seen a bit of Swarna at the Philadelphia Cricket Festival a couple of weeks ago. And he's a type of batsman that would like to score quickly. One of the things you will notice with him, he makes room on the onside. In fact, he goes to the onside to just open up that offside. And so it's going to be interesting to see how he handles Cornet Dry with some bit of pace. But the action shifts to Ryan Scott. And here is Stephen Taylor, who would have just returned from the CPL in the Caribbean, having represented the Jamaica Talawas.
Absolutely. Stephen Taylor, of course, born here in the U.S., but of Jamaican heritage. So that's not the most surprising thing to have happened. Bit of a West Indies matchup here. The bowler, batter, and he bowled him. He knocked him over. Look at that. Stephen Taylor on fire. And all of a sudden, the Atlanta Fire is all over the Philadelphians. Ryan Scott gets cleaned up. Middle stump out of the ground. 8 for 2. Boy, going on to the back foot, it looks like to me, Lenny. I don't know that you'd ever want to go back to such a full delivery. And from the naked eye, it appeared that he also played around it. So let's see here. In fact, not necessarily going back, but he certainly played around it. Looking to play that to mid-wicket. Should have probably continued trying to play that in the V. But that pressure, Lenny, is what I think took that wicket, because they had not been scoring, only 8 runs on the board. And you'd feel the pressure. You want to take advantage of those power play overs, but not able to get anything going. And I think it is that pressure that eventually caused the false stroke. And Ryan Scott goes back to the pavilion, only with 1 run against his name.
So the captain, Jonathan Fu, comes to the middle. He comes in at number 4. He comes in the third over. He comes with a couple of wickets down, not many on the card. Another good start here from the Philadelphians. And Brian, we spoke about the Atlantic Super 4, and that includes the Philadelphians. We saw yesterday the Somerset Cavaliers, Atlanta Fire, and the Atlanta Lightning. So 2 Atlanta teams, and the Philadelphians and New Jersey Somerset Cavaliers, part of the Super 4 from the Atlantic side. And then, of course, when you look at the Pacific side, you see the likes of Dallas Mustang, Lone Star, East Bay, and Silicon Valley Strikers. So that rounds up the Super 8. And Jonathan Fu has come in here quite early. We've seen a strike from Stephen Taylor, perhaps one of the biggest strike. And we've seen one from Corny Dry taking out Derek Narain. So under pressure here is the Philadelphians.
Boy, Stephen Taylor is bang on target to the righties and the lefties. So it is a brilliant start here for the Atlanta Fire.
Lovely shot from Jonathan Fu. Swept and swept over square leg. And that has gone for the first boundary of this game. And it comes off the bat of Jonathan Fu. He's gone for 6.
My goodness. Commentator's curse. As soon as I said it, Jonathan Fu goes down on one knee and slaps Stephen Taylor. There you see on that replay. Very little risk in that shot because he's bowling around the wicket to the right-hander. So LBW essentially not in play from that angle. And so Jonathan Fu wanting to get that one away. So that is the end of over number 3. Score is 14 for 2.
So 3 overs gone. They're 2 down for 14 on the board. The Philadelphians. Sivaram Swarna has come in at number 3. We've seen a lovely shot from Jonathan Fu in the final ball of the last over. And Jonathan Fu, Brian, comes out here as a crisis man again, having to stitch together some early damage caused by this man on your screen running into bowl, Corny Dry.
Hear the grunt. Corny Dry is 100 yards away from us, and you hear the effort that he's putting into these deliveries. The ball smacking into the gloves of Jamar Hamilton, 20 yards behind the stumps. So he's fired up, and look, you win the toss and you bowl, you want to take quick wickets. So they're accomplishing that. But more than that, they've restricted the scoring. The scoring rate now only 4.67, which projects to about a 93-run total. Obviously, they'll want to have much more than that, but it's really difficult now. These opening bowlers are really, really having the Philadelphians on the back foot.
So some bit of pace here. You saw not only Hamilton just taking the ball, Brian, but he takes it just about his shoulder height.
Yep.
Again, another ball that cuts Swarna in half. It goes through to Jamar Hamilton, and you were asking me where Jamar Hamilton comes from, the little island, and a couple of players who would have represented the West Indies. Well, Jamar Hamilton is one, and then of course we spoke about Omari Banks.
Omari Banks. Okay, bonus question for you. What does Omari Banks now do with his time? Well, not what Roddy in the production area says. He does not work in a bank, at least not to the best of our knowledge. aggressive delivery. Boy, it will be very close. You might think that Sivaram Shawarma might have a legitimate complaint, but again, it does not matter. The bigger issue is that the umpire has made a decision. You tuck your bat under your arm and you walk off. And I think that's exactly what Billy Taylor was indicating to Mr. Swarna. This is not something that you have to debate. New batter in, and here's corner dry again.
So ball slides down the leg side, called the wide, and Philadelphians, they're 3 down with 15 on the board. Rajdeep Darbar, who's been used at the top of the order, so he comes in at 5. And we've seen a lovely shot in the last over from Jonathan Fu. That's the only high point of what has happened here so far.
Yeah.
And Cornet Dry's picked up a couple of wickets, both of them. Oh, top edge. It doesn't matter. He's taking on that. Lendell Simmons will come around. And Rajdeep Darbar gets off the mark. Very brave taking on Cornet Dry, but he did well enough to get off the mark. 16 for 3.
He did well enough from the standpoint of not getting out, but he had no control over that shot. It spooned up in the air. Lendell Simmons back on the boundary. Had he been in about 5 or so more yards, he may well have just been able to take that catch. So the bowling continues to be absolutely hostile and aggressive from the highway end from Corner Dry, and Stephen Taylor equally miserly from the forest end.
So Sanova has gone for a couple of runs. Corner Dry has really been on the ball, 2 for 7 so far, and he will come into bowl to the captain Jonathan Fu, who will have a lot of work to do here. Jonathan Fu jumps back in his crease. 4th over gone is 16 for 3. So the Atlanta Fire on top, winning the toss, electing to bowl, and things have gone pretty well. Taylor with 1, Corner Dry with a couple of wickets. And Brian, when you look in the manner in which Corner Dry has really picked up wicket is because of the pace. We saw a mistimed shot from Derek Narain. That's probably because of pace. And we saw that one from Swarna, again because of pace. Ball rushing into around the glove area.
Brilliant bowling by Corner Dry. Again, one of my favorite pace bowlers to watch. Just a pace bowler who's good at his craft. And speaking of pace bowlers, a change in bowling for the first time today coming from the forest end. This is going to be Benukali and Maddy Reddy. Right arm pacer, not quite as quick as Corner Dry, but quick enough. See how he does here against this pair.
So ball pulled into the onside. That's a lovely shot from Rajdeep Darbar, heading down the wrong line from Maddy Reddy. And that's a lovely release shot here from Rajdeep Darbar.
Absolutely, getting himself going and getting in a good position. I think this ball is just a touch too straight. You'll see the line, probably on the leg stump line. And again, if you're going to bowl short, it needs to be a short ball up around the head. This is around waist height, easily put away for 4.
Oh, that's another lovely shot up and over off the bat of Rajdeep Darbar. So consecutive 4s at the start of Maddy Reddy's spell, and a couple of big shots from Rajdeep Darbar, 2 4s.
Boy, this is going to change the fortunes of the Philadelphians. A confident-looking strike. The first one, he got help from a bad line, but this one got the width outside. Overcorrecting on that occasion was Maddy Reddy, and hammered away through the offside for 4.
So just want to give our viewers a little bit of context, just in case you might be wondering that Rajdeep Darbar has driven a ball that has gone straight towards one of the roads. It's not one of those highway roads. It's an access road.
Yep.
That gets you into the complex and then takes you out back to catch up at 290, Brian?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's one of those service road, as we call it in New York. trying to play. Ball goes through to Jamar Hamilton, and then later on we'll give you a little bit of more context as the ball goes into the brushes, the ball goes into the parking area if it does go. And then of course we've got the media center on the, if you're watching Darbar, well, if Darbar is to pull a ball
It will come straight to us.
to the mid-wicket area, it comes to the media center. And our media center, by the way, is on 4 wheels. Into the offside. Easy single here for Rajdeep Darbar. And
Tell you what, he has made the correction. The first 2 balls were off in line. The first one 2 straight, the second 2 wide. Got punished on both. He's made the correction. The delivery number 3 was a dot, and this one on the right line pushed into the offside for a single. But his challenge is now going to be able to maintain that off-stump line. Nothing too straight. Only one man in the deep. That is Corning Dry at deep square leg. If you keep that ball on the right line, then that's where you'll need to be.
So ball into the offside, and Brian, you've got to love the approach by Rajdeep Darbar. He has come out and he has counteracted, and he's really tried to take the fight to the bowler. We saw right in this over a couple of 4s. They were very convincing shots. And sometimes as a batter going through a rut, sometimes the best way is to fight yourself out of situations like that. And I think he has done that positively well. But you're watching Jonathan Fu on strike. Oh, ball has eluded Matt already. So the 5th over comes to a close. It's 25 for 3. So after 5 overs, the Philadelphians find themselves with 3 down with 25 on the board. We've seen a positive start from Rajdeep Darbar. And another bowling change. It looks like Amila Aponso has been given the ball. So he will come in here, Brian. Second time we're seeing spin. We saw Stephen Taylor. And now the left arm spinner comes into the attack.
Miller Ponza presenting a different challenge. Now with the 2 righties at the crease, he will be turning the ball away from those 2 righties and immediately seeing Captain Aaron Jones there to the left of your screen coming in at first slip for that exact reason. So pay attention here. This is going to be an interesting matchup.
So ball driven through the covers of the bat of Rajdeep Darbar. Flat along the ground. No man move. And what a positive start from Rajdeep Darbar. 4 more runs.
Oh my goodness. So the first slip is not going to matter if you bowl it that full. It was almost just short of Yorker length, landing maybe just right under the eye line of Rajdeep Darbar and width. So he's a little too full and a little too wide, and hammered away through the offside. Everyone inside the circle on the offside, because again, this is the power play. Still good looking shot.
So Darbar will not score, but you've got to love the positive attitude here by Darbar. Coming into this game, his highest has been 22 against the Manhattan Yorkers, and conditions in the East hasn't been really easy for any of the batters there. Into the offside, more runs here for Rajdeep Darbar. Up and over again, and that has gone away for another boundary.
This is turning into a one-man show. Rajdeep Darbar now 18 from 8 balls faced with 4 boundaries. Look at this. You'll see again the width is the issue for me. Way too wide outside the line of off stump, and providing Darbar the opportunity to go up and over. And again, even though it was outside the line of off, but intentionally that time, Darbar staying inside, staying on the leg side, and accessing the offside, allowing himself that much more leverage. So I think Amila Ponson needs to bring it a little bit closer to the off-stump line.
And I'm surprised, Brian, that the two fielders outside of the circle are the two onside fielder. I would have used maybe a long off, maybe a deep cover, but Amila Ponce has gone for 4. He's gone for a couple of 4. Paddled away. That's a good-looking shot from Rajdeep Darbar. And he'll pick up a couple of runs, so we'll wait and see if he came off the bat, and I hope he did. Such a lovely paddle into the onside. Yes, it did come off the bat, so Rajdeep Darbar has gone quickly up to 20.
Up to 20 and 10 from this over already. There you see on the replay. Good looking sweep. Again, the line overcorrected on that line that time.
So the 6th over comes to a close. The power play done and dusted. So after 6, they're batting at 35 for 3. So 35 for 3. At the end of 6, Fu is on 6. Rajdeep Darbar, he's on 20. He's really played a good hand, as Matt already will continue.
Darbar seems to be playing on a different pitch from everybody else. 20 from 11, striking it at 181. Jonathan Fu, 1 scoring stroke, and that was a 6. So naturally a very aggressive batter, and you would have seen him throughout the year, Lenny. Very, very aggressive ordinarily, and we're now outside of the power play. Only another 14 overs, another 84 balls left. I'm expecting to see Jonathan Fu look to take the game away, or take the game to the Atlanta Fire.
Yeah, Jonathan Fu has been provided with a leadership this year, and they've gone to a place where they have never gone before in 2 years, Brian. So that in itself is a bit of accomplishment from Jonathan Fu, and he certainly would be quite pleased with the progress that he has made. But the greater progress is for him to probably get into Sunday game and probably win the championship. That will be the overall satisfaction from any captain.
Speaking of Sunday's game and the championship that will be played in Grand Prairie, the lovely Grand Prairie Cricket Stadium, about 230 miles away from where we are now in Prairie View. After this delivery, I want you to tell me who you think is going to be in that and who's going to win it.
Smoke away into the offside. Fielder comes in. We talk about the direct throws.
Oh my goodness. Amilo Ponzo at backward point, springing onto that delivery, picking it up in a flash. Again, probably a stump and a half to aim at. Bullseye from backward point. And you could tell you did not need to be Brian Kane completely square of the wicket to be able to tell that one he was going to be short. What an absolutely brilliant piece of fielding. We'll see the replay here shortly, but Lenny, for me, this might be the play of the match. Look at this replay. Just dropping it at backward points there. And Jonathan Fu taking off. Look at Emilio Ponzo, one-handed, and that on the move. Oh my goodness, that is not easy at all. And look at Emilio Ponzo celebrate. That is a brilliant, brilliant piece of fielding. Look again from this angle. You see a little bit more wide angle. Look at the single-handed pickup and throw. One motion. Tremendous work there by Emilio Ponzo.
So Jonathan Fu is gone. They're batting at 36 for 4.
Boy, Lenny, we're getting another look at this. Jonathan Fu, this will give us a good angle as we slow it down. He's not even in the frame. And for some reason, angles his run up, or his run to the wicket to the side. So adding actually a couple of extra feet to the distance that he had to travel. Had he been running in a straight line, I think he still would have been out, but at least it would have been closer. Jonathan Fu choosing to take the scenic route to the stumps, paying for it with his wicket.
Saraj Nanan comes to the middle. And Brian, not too long ago, I made mention that I've seen so many direct hits yesterday that accounted for wickets. We have started consistently well today. Amila Aponso, when you look at Amila Aponso and you talk about Atlanta Fire cricket, Brian, there are about 4 names I'll call out, and these men have been the face of Atlanta Fire cricket in the last 5 years. And it's good to have those core. When you think of Atlanta cricket as Raj Nanan gets off the mark, but when you talk about Atlanta cricket, you talk about Cornet Dry,
Yep.
you talk about Aaron Jones, you talk about Stephen Taylor. So Liam Plunkett comes to the middle. And Plunkett comes in at number 7 with 39 on the board. Still a long way to go. 78 balls remaining, 13 overs gone. We've seen very good fast bowling from Cornet Dry. We've seen an excellent catch from him. And Brian, that is why I was making the point that it is always good to put some tall men in the region of those boundary area. Had it been one of the shorter player, for example, Amilo Ponce, not as tall as Cornet Dry, probably could have given Darbar a bit of an advantage.
I think there are 2 people on the field right now who would have taken that catch. One would be Cornet Dry, the other would have been Obaspinar. Absent either one of those 2, that is 6. Cricket can sometimes, they say it about baseball, I think it also applies to cricket. It can be a game of inches. And another 2 or 3 inches lower than that catch would have gone, it would have gone for 6.
It's a ball. Wow. Struck well from Raj Nanan, and that has gone for a maximum.
Wow. So he gets down on one foot, or one knee rather, and lofts this well over long on. Doesn't matter. Corner drive was nowhere near that, but had he been in that line, he would have needed to have been about 10 feet tall to be able to catch that one. There you see, down on one knee and lofting it. The first time this lands is actually over that little fence beyond the rope. So that's probably about a 75 or so yard hit. Big strike.
Saw yesterday, Raj Nanan got 29, batted extremely well in a pressure situation. He has come out here with a lot more pressure on him today. Nazir Hussain, the off spinner, comes into the attack and he's been belted out of the park not too long ago from Raj Nanan. They're fighting back, 45 for 5.
Well, they have a long way to go though, because given where you are, that ball is punched down the ground. Given where you are now, you're at the stage of the innings where you would be looking to accelerate. But you can't exactly go aggressively because you only have 5 wickets remaining. So you have to sort of find the balance between a cautious approach and the need to score runs. Knowing that batting is going to be easier for the team batting second. So that's going to be in the back of your mind as well.
So Plunkett gets off the mark with 1. The 8th over comes to a close, and after 8, the Philadelphians asked to bat first. They're batting a 47 for 5. So 47 for 5, 8 overs gone. The Philadelphians under pressure here. We've seen some very good cricket from the Atlanta Fire. And that's your man on your screen there, umpire Billy Taylor. He comes out of England. And a man that has already played some 54 first-class matches spread across Hampshire and Sussex. That's Brian Kane from New York. And Brian Kane has been part of a lot of top-level games. Would have just returned from the T10 Masters Tournament, the Legend Series in Florida a couple weeks ago. So Brian Kane and umpire Billy Taylor, who has played at the English county first-class level. Brian Kane as a fast medium bowler.
Jay Patak into the attack. Speaking of the 2 umpires, Brian Kane has not played cricket. Brian Kane picking up the sport much later in his life and progressing to the point where he is now a high-level umpire. He is as American as the day is long. So the fact that we have an American who has gotten to the point where they're officiating high-level games is a testament to his skill and to the development of the umpiring system here in the U.S.
Having said all that, Brian, you're saying it can be done.
I am saying not only can it be done, it has to be done.
And at a high level.
And at a high level. It is so much an important part of the development of this game that we get people who normally have no previous involvement with the sport to be able to get to the level where Brian Kane is right now.
So umpire Billy Taylor, that's the man on your screen. He's at the ruling end. And then, of course, Brian just spoke about Brian Kane. A couple of Brians here. So Jay Patak will continue, 48 for 5. And Nanan, solid as ever, strokes it into the offside. Stephen Taylor comes into play, 49 for 5. And we are in the 9th over. Just coming back to Billy Taylor, and when Billy Taylor would have played for Hampshire,
yep,
he would have played in good company. Shane Warne, I thought, was part of that overseas player contingent at one point. Simon Cottage from Australia. And so Billy Taylor, former Hampshire Sussex fast bowler, is in attendance here, but he's an umpire today. 49 for 5.
Playing a different role. And of course, currently on the ECB's list of highest level umpires. I don't remember exactly what the name of that list is, but he's a high level umpire with the ECB, and of course would have done some umpiring in Major League Cricket here in the Dallas area, Grand Prairie, earlier this summer. So really proud of the two umpires that we have working today.
So Liam Plunkett going aerial. Ball goes into the region of Pinar, and the 50 comes up for the Philadelphians. So it comes in the 9th over, but they're 5 down. 50 on the board here for the Philadelphians.
Well, you want 50 on the board, but you would have wanted it maybe in over number 7, over number 6. But more to the point, you would have wanted it with fewer than 5 wickets down. So that still puts you in a difficult position. Jay Patak bowling relatively well here. Just 3 runs conceded from the 5 so far. Make that 4 from 6 as it's punched down to Obaspinar long on. That completes over number 9. After 9, the score is 51 for 5.
So 51 for 5, 9 overs gone. Raj Nanan along with Liam Plunkett will have to try to make use of the remaining 66 balls. Hussain continues the off spinner. Such an experienced side is this Atlanta Fire team. And one of the other players I probably may have missed when I was making the point. Across the line of a delivery, and he beats everyone, including the keeper. We'll wait and see. Could be by. And in fact, he may have gotten an edge and a bit of on the edge. If there's any edge that passes the keeper, Brian, it passes under their glove.
Absolutely. Here we see from around the wicket. Yeah, just the toe end, the cue end of the bat running through for the single that they're able to get. Look, they'll take any runs that they can get at this stage because they're now starting to fall behind. Scoring rate now, Lenny, is at 5.57. Scoring at less than a run a ball. That projects to 111. They'll need more than that.
So Plunkett will pick up another single. And Brian, if you were Raj Nanan or Liam Plunkett here with 63 balls remaining with half of the side back in the shade, what's your approach here?
My goodness, you need quick runs. I don't mind you looking for quick singles. Singles are always going to be a good way of starting to get the ball rolling. But the idea now is you can't be too carefree. And to the extent that you know you need runs, you know conditions are better for batting, you want to target something around 140. If you score at the rate of 9 and over from here, you get to 148. I don't know whether or not that's out of reach, but then again, this is lofted down the ground. It may be within reach. That is a huge 6, using the feet well, chipping down the pitch. Raj Nanan doing exactly what you need for him to do. A big 6 over long on, Lenny.
Yeah, another good strike from Raj Nanan. We saw him yesterday, got 29. And batted in similar conditions. Look, just advancing a couple of steps. 1, 2,
yep.
Boom. That's gone a long way. Raj Nanan goes up to 18.
Lovely strike. Really good looking strike down the pitch. So again, you have to take singles where you get them. The idea is to keep the scoreboard ticking. Then if you can change the conversation, you see one tossed up and you know that you can dance down the pitch and meet it on the half volley like Raj Nanan just did, then you take advantage of those types of situations. But you need runs. You need a comfortable score, I think, would be about 150 at a minimum. I think you're going to want more than that, as that is cut to backward point. Dot ball to end things here and over number 10, halfway through the innings, halfway through the side, 59 for 5. So, Lenny, we're back. This is the second delivery of the over, and 2 deliveries have gone for 4. This is a positive start to the second half of the innings by Liam Plunkett and the Philadelphians. Scoring now up to 67 for 5 with those 2 boundaries.
Yeah, a couple of lovely shots from Liam Plunkett. Jay Patak conceding a couple of boundaries there, so a very good start to the 11th over from the Philadelphians, from Liam Plunkett. And we are into the second half of this Philadelphians innings. Stroked up into the offside, into the onside, and so Liam Plunkett and Raj Nanan left with the task. I've really used up the other 58 balls, Brian, and so far they have posted a 29-run partnership.
It's an important partnership. We talked a little bit about how they need to sort of mix caution and attack. And I think they found a bowler that they want to target. Jay Patak is a good bowler, but Liam Plunkett has found something that he likes about Jay Patak's bowling. And any opportunity to score is what they'll be looking for.
So both teams in with points in this phase. We saw yesterday Atlanta Fire winning. We saw yesterday the Philadelphians getting points, and now we come down to a clash of the top of the table teams. All the teams will be playing 3 games, and as Peter and I we were talking about yesterday, there could be a team that will probably win all their games, and that will be very good for them as we leave here on Friday afternoon.
Yep.
And there's so many other scenarios that can happen. Team can win, lose 1, win 2. You could lose 2, win 1. You could find some similar situations with the other team, and then of course the net run rate will probably come into play. So ball comes off the edge and gets a single is Raj Nanan. So the 11th over comes to a close. The Philadelphians, they're batting a 69 for 5. So 11 overs gone, 69 for 5. Stephen Taylor, 1 for 8 in a couple of overs. Brian comes back into the attack. Taylor has picked up the wicket of Ryan Scott, the big wicket of Ryan Scott.
Staying with off spin, Mohammad Nasser Hussain bowling 2 overs from the highway end. Now Stephen Taylor, the off spinner himself, having bowled 2 inside the power play, will be looking to continue to restrict the Philadelphians. Bowling now his off spin to Ranji Nanan, or Raj Nanan. Ranji Nanan, there's a name from the past. Lenny, I showed my age just now, my apologies.
Actually, Brian, you're not the only one. You're not the only one. I've done so many games with Raj Nanan playing. And many times I've had to hold back
from saying Ranji Nanan.
Prevent my lips by saying Ranji Nanan. And for our viewers who don't know who Ranji Nanan is, well, he's a Trinidadian off-spinner, played a long time at the first-class level.
Yep.
At one time, Ranji Nanan was probably the leading wicket-taker in the Caribbean. He bowled and he played a long time for the Trinidad and Tobago national team at the first-class level. So Ranji Nanan, wherever you are, if you're still alive, your name is still being called.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, our production manager is telling us that Ranji Nanan sadly has passed away, but he has served Trinidad cricket pretty well. And speaking of Trinidad cricket and And another man who has passed on, Rafiq Jumadeen. Not too sure if you remember him.
I absolutely remember. I saw him play at Savannah Park a couple times.
Yeah, a couple of months ago. So rest in peace, Ranji Nanan and Rafiq Jumadeen.
We just lost half our audience. Lenny, you and I are two old guys. I'll wear that with a badge of honor.
So Taylor into the onside. Ball hit into the onside by Liam Plunkett. The 12th over comes to a close. It's 73 for 5. So 12 overs gone, 73 for 5, 48 balls remaining. And it looks like Cornet Dry has come back into the attack, Brian. 2 overs nominated, 2 for 7 from the road end, but he will bowl from the parking lot end.
Looking to bowl from the forest end, the northern end of the ground here in Prairie View. It's going to be interesting. He generated tremendous pace, was very hostile when he bowled earlier in his first spell. Now Lendl Simmons is down at deep backward square leg, and the short deliveries will go in that direction.
So a nice little partnership here forming, 34 so far. We talked about balls remaining, 47 balls remaining. You want to use all of those up. With batting to come, Shiru Bhatia, AJ, Soripol Islam, and Deveshwari Prasad to come. They're all capable batters, so 73 for 5. And Cornet Dry, he's steaming in, Brian. He's bowling.
Oh! Look at Jamar Hamilton with the gloves on, picking up and shying at the stumps. That did not miss by much. Look at this. Look at Jamar Hamilton behind the top left. Sprint, pick up with the glove on, and still shy at the stumps at the non-strikers. And boy, a direct hit right there. May have seen the back of Liam Plunkett. Brilliant work by Jamar Hamilton.
And one of the things keepers will do quite quickly, Brian, as they run to pick up the ball, they become a fielder, and so they'll drop that big glove.
Yep.
But they still have one of those that you call inners. I'm not too sure what they call it in Jamaica when you played, or even in the States, Brian, but we used to call it in Guyana, we call it inners.
That's exactly what we called it when I played, sometime in the Reagan administration. I used to wear baseball batting gloves underneath my batting gloves. Instead of proper inners, I'd actually have baseball gloves, like the gloves that the baseball batters use. Those would be what I wore inside, and then, of course, the cricket batting gloves on the outside.
So ball into the offside. And Brian, were you ever considering being a keeper?
I used to tell my captain, I have the skill to be a keeper, but I'll also always need to have a first slip, because I needed somebody to help me up after every ball. I had bad knees, Lenny. Years and years of coming in off of a 30-yard run up and hitting the deck hard wore my knees down pretty quickly.
So Dry has gone for just a couple of runs in this over. Oh, pulled. It doesn't time it well, but he could pick up 4 in front of Stephen Taylor. And that's a good-looking shot from Liam Plunkett.
Oh, lovely shot. I'll tell you what. He didn't necessarily time it well, but he saw it quickly, and he pounced on it. And the extent to which he saw it quickly means that it went well in front of square. I mentioned that deep square leg is Lendl Simmons, and he's in that position for the miscued hook shot. Well, Liam Plunkett didn't come anywhere close to miscuing. It went well in front of square, and a really elegant-looking pull shot by Liam Plunkett for 4 runs.
So this partnership has gone up to 40 so far. We've seen an over of 6 from Cornet Dry. So he comes to an end. And we're beginning to see a little bit of fight back here from Raj, Nanan, and Liam Plunkett. 13 gone, 79 for 5. So Taylor will continue, 79 for 5.
Really good spell ball here by Stephen Taylor. This is his last over. Only 12 runs conceded from his 3 overs bowled. And bear in mind, 2 of those overs were bowled inside the power play with only 2 outside the circle. Much more protection in the deep this time.
So 40-run partnership so far. This is putting Philadelphians with some bit of substance, with 41 balls still to be bowled. And we saw Raj Nanan yesterday playing a similar knock. He's been called upon to do almost similar in just about hours of sleep.
Trying to use his feet that time, Raj Nanan, to get down to the pitch. Almost ended up yarking himself. Ball almost trapped underneath, or almost snuck underneath his bat.
So Stephen Taylor has really bowled well, 1 for 12 so far. And as Brian made mention, he will finish up here. He has 3 more balls. A man who's been part of the CPL, represented the Jamaica Talawas, batted in the middle.
Oh my goodness. 4 dot balls in over number 14. This is brilliant bowling so far by Stephen Taylor. Just 2 remaining in his spell now.
So can score again. This has really been a tidy over here from Stephen Taylor. Do you think Raj Nanan know he's bowling his last over and want to see him out?
In over 14, I don't know that you're looking to see anybody out, to be honest. You need runs. And a maiden, absolutely brilliant bowling by Stephen Taylor. And that would have been a body blow to the efforts of the Philadelphians. They're down in terms of their run rate to 5.64. After 14, the score is 79, or remains 79 for 5.
So Ponce comes back into the attack with 36 balls remaining. They're batting a 79 for 5. We've seen an excellent partnership here between Plunkett and Nanan, yielding some 40 runs.
Miller Ponzo only bowled 1 over so far. He was expensive. 10 runs from that 1 over. Looking to see if he can turn his fortunes around here. Doesn't have the time, obviously, to bowl his entire spell. Bowling here, number 15. That goes in the gap. That may have the legs to get to the boundary. No, it's cut off by that fielder. Deep extra cover. They get a couple.
Yeah, good looking shot again from Liam Plunkett, really stroking the ball around. With 34 balls remaining, Brian, a lot of open spaces, open gap. This is a big ground. And that partnership has gone up to 42 valuable runs here for the Philadelphians.
Very valuable. Liam Plunkett, 22 from 18, make that 19. Raj Nanan, a couple of lusty blows, but his strike rate is actually well under 100, 75 actually. So these two, you would think if there's an acceleration, it's going to come from this partnership.
So this Atlanta Fire team has done really well during the course of this 2023 Sunoco Minor League Cricket Championship, Brian. They've played 11 games. They've won 7. They've lost 3. The interesting thing, they have lost twice to the Atlanta Lightning in the regular season. But boy, yesterday they were able to turn that around and got a win over the Lightning. So, and they would have also lost to the Fort Lauderdale Lions. But other than that, they've enjoyed a very good season. They're into the Super 8. And it doesn't matter, Brian, as at this stage of the game, what you have done in the regular league stage. I just want to stick on the pad. Could be leg by, but it now comes down to a knockout stage, or at least a short phase in which every win will count. And we come down, as you would want to say, the business end of this part.
Mm-hmm.
And it all comes down to how well you play in the next couple of days.
Well, it's all for the championship. I asked you a question that you have yet to answer. It was several overs ago. Who are your two participants in Grand Prairie this weekend? Who comes out on top?
So 15 overs gone, Brian. We will talk about that. 83 for 5.
So quick look at the proverbial Manhattan. A couple of tall buildings. The tallest building there, 10. So a couple of overs where they've scored as many as 10. But for the most part, the Philadelphians have not had a good time of it. The overall scoring rate right now is 5.53 at 83 for 5 after 15. So their current run rate gets them to 111. At the toss, Aaron Jones said he'd be comfortable if he held the Philadelphians to anything under 150. So that is a fair distance away from where they are right now. This early into the match, you'd have to give the advantage to the Atlanta Fire.
So Jay Patak comes into the attack, ball into the offside, and that partnership has gone up to 41. So Brian, coming back to a bit of prediction, you're asking me, I want to think that Dallas Mustang is gonna go very deep in this tournament. So maybe I'm probably gonna try and go out and on the limb and say Dallas Mustang might be one of the teams there. So we'll have to come to the Atlantic to my Atlantic pick. I've made my Pacific pick, calling Dallas Mustangs. Lone Star is not a bad team. We'll see what happens today, but I gotta go with one. And so leg by is the call. Score goes up to 85 for 5 and 28 balls remaining. I want to think that both these Atlanta team, Atlanta Fire and Atlanta Lightning, are two strong options, strong teams that could be playing on Sunday.
Yep.
And you want me to take down one? Maybe I'll probably go with the Fire for now, because they've been to championship weekend. And perhaps that experience will probably take them there. So something like that.
So I hear you saying it might be either the Atlanta Lightning or the Atlanta Fire matching up against the Dallas Mustangs. If it is a choice between those two, Mr. Chibar, who lifts the cup in Grand Prairie Sunday night?
So this one worked into the offside. They'll get a single. Sorry, Brian. I don't do I don't do predictions in the same hour.
So you let that one go through to the keeper. Don't think I didn't notice that, Lenny. Okay, this may be my very obvious Texas bias showing. The Dallas Mustangs on paper, I think, are the strongest team in the league. Not just the division, in the league.
So lofted shot into the offside. He's given someone a chance. And the big partnership of 47 comes to a brave end. Liam Plunkett goes. And it's 86 for 6.
Yeah, Oba Spinar pouching that one of the safest pair of hands anywhere on the field. He's going to be essentially a vacuum cleaner anywhere on the field if that ball is near to him. Jay Patak striking. This ball is maybe just not quite there for the drive. Liam Plunkett elevating it. Bashundhara just drifting in several yards off the rope, taking it chest height. No issues there at all with that catch. Wicket number 6 goes down just when that partnership was looking to blossom and trying to sort of get going. Jay Patak strikes. That is the end of the senior pro for the Philadelphians, Liam Plunkett. A well-made 23 from 23 with 3 boundaries, but that dismissal essentially means that you're into the lower middle order at this stage, at the point where you need to be looking to accelerate.
So 25 balls remaining. Prashad comes to the middle, and Brian, while Prashad, well, it's a fact, Prashad wouldn't be taking guard. Well, yes, he'll be taking guard, so you can continue with your quick predictions there.
On paper, one of the best teams. In fact, I think the best team in the country. Additional element is that they're playing at home. And so there will be, the stadium holds 7,000 people. I would imagine that if they make it into that match, then there will be several supporters there cheering them on. Sliced away. That goes away for 4. Apologies, Lenny. I jumped all over you there. But that came off the outside edge. You need runs, and you need them quickly. So Prashad wanting to go through maybe extra cover, peeling off the outside edge. Nobody in the deep third, and they get a fortuitous boundary. You'll take them any way they come here. Look at Jay Patak again. Good delivery, finds the outside edge, and it flies away kind of wide of that fielder backward point. Goes away for 4. So fortuitous boundary to close things here in over number 16. At the end of 16, the score is 90 for 6.
So Amila Aponso will continue. We've seen a very good knock again from Raj Nanan, 2 days in a row. And he brings out the reverse shot, doesn't go too well. And so Amila Aponso starts over number 17. So 23 balls still to be bowled, 90 for 6.
Jamar Hamilton is very animated behind the stumps, is always animated behind the stumps. And it's really entertaining to watch him do his craft. And again, really skillful, referring earlier to that throw that he made with the gloves on. Pretty skillful.
So ball driven into the offside, brings Prashad into strike. And while Prashad will take a few seconds to get his guard in, Brian, go ahead.
The only element that I think causes some potential issue for the Dallas Mustangs is, I think, the person who, by all means, would be the most valuable player candidate, Corey Anderson, has not played the last several matches. And struck away square. That's Lendl Simmons out there on the boundary, doing some football work to save 2 runs for his side. So Corey Anderson has not played the last several matches. Hamad Azam has led the team beautifully in his absence. They've won everything they've needed to win. Andreas Haus had an injury, and he's come back from that injury. If Corey Anderson is available, then I think nobody beats the Dallas Mustangs. If Corey Anderson is not available, then, of course, that brings them to me closer in terms of talent and potential to everybody else.
So Prashad comes down. Oh, good bit of fielding there from Stephen Taylor. Realizing he can't take the catch, but he saved a boundary. Good looking shot again from Prashad. So the 17th over comes to a close.
Oh my goodness, look at this. Before we go away, look at this replay. Coming down, using his feet. Look at Stephen Taylor here. Actually fielding this ball on the short hop. Look at this. Couldn't get there for the catch, but does enough to keep that ball in front of him and saves 3 runs. That is excellent work by Stephen Taylor in the deep. That is the end of over number 17. The score is 94 for 6.
So we're down to the last 18 balls. Corner dry. 2 for 13 from 3 overs. And we'll come into bowl to the attacking Deveshwari Prasad. He's been quite productive. 7 off 4 balls. We saw not too long ago he would have picked up a boundary. We saw him trying to go over the onside. Stephen Taylor. Always a big choice for you to make, Brian, when you're fielding in the deep areas, inches away from the ropes, is to make a decision. Do you go for the catch, or do you want to stay back and allow the ball to bounce and maybe save a boundary on some occasion?
Stephen Taylor was able to, I think, pretty early on realize he was not going to be able to get there for the catch.
So
but it does enough to be able to prevent the boundary.
So corner dry. And Brian, we've seen Cornet Dry bowl from a long run. In fact, he doesn't need a marker. He uses the 30-yard marker
Amazing.
to run from. Look where he goes. Look where Cornet Dry starts his run up. Those markers are put there by the umpires. He doesn't need a marker. He runs all the way. Look.
Turns at the 30-yard circle. So that tells you exactly how long the run-up is.
Ball into the offside, and they get one. And Brian, Newton law, one of Newton law. Here's a little bit of physics. Newton law tells you that a ball at rest is a ball at rest, but once the bowler picks it up and it starts to run in, and let's say Cornet Dry is running at 12, 15 miles an hour, that ball has started to travel 12, 15 miles an hour.
Yep. When
Cornet Dry gets up to delivery strides and allows the wheeler to fly, let's say he bowls at 78, 79 miles an hour, that's physics for you. Ball travels at 80 miles an hour. This one into the offside, they'll get a single. So essentially what I'm saying is that we've seen cricket being a game in which the bowler starts the momentum of the ball. You carry it for 15, 20 miles, and then of course with the whole bowling action, the wind up, the delivery stride, the release of the ball, and that's another 70 miles an hour. So there you go. A lesson for you, eh?
Well, I thought I'd be watching a cricket match today. I didn't think I'd be in a physics lesson, but I appreciate the knowledge, Lenny.
So Prashad on strike. Oh, lofted into the offside. Fielder will come around, falls in front of Jay Patak. And another single here for the Philadelphians. We come down to the last 14 balls, Brian. 97 on the board.
Boy, I think the Atlanta Fire will be very happy with where they are. And the Philadelphians, 6 wickets down and only 97 on the board with 18, make that 14 balls to go. Nowhere near what they would have needed. Of course, anything can happen. This is a glorious game of uncertainties, as they say. But you really would have needed many more runs on the board if you're the Philadelphians.
So Nanan comes down. We saw second day in a row, Raj Nanan has played a very good hand. We saw him yesterday. He got 28 or 29. And he's coming with a very good batting performance here. He's up to 25 so far, in fact to 26. And with 13 balls remaining, they'll be hoping to get to 110, 115. If they could get away, maybe to 120.
Boy.
And ball into the offside. Wants a single. Where are you going, Raj Nanan? He's camp. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, it all happened in slow motion, it seemed. Very casually jogging down the wicket, wanting to have the run, was sent back by Prasad, and a brilliant throw from the mid-wicket, from the mid-off position rather, and collecting that ball and disturbing the stumps was Jamar Hamilton. Look at this. Aaron Jones with the pickup throw. And boy, he did not really appear to have a sense of urgency trying to get back behind the line, it has to be said. Struck into the offside. This will give us a good view here. Here we see the bat sliding, and good call by umpire Billy Taylor because he was short by probably half a foot. So really unnecessary and frankly embarrassing run out to close things out here in over number 18. That is the end of 18. The score is 97 for 7.
Yes, Brian, we saw Jonathan Fu earlier on getting run out by a more of a direct throw, but Raj Nanan may not have gotten the right response from Deveshwari Prasad as Shiro Bhatia comes to the middle. Amila Aponso. Have you interviewed Aponso and asked him what's up with that hairstyle?
I've not had the opportunity to ask that question. I will say my partner Lenny wants to know what is up with the hairstyle. Great Yorker to start with here, though. Left arm spinner was very expensive in his first over. Went for 10 runs. But since then, only conceding 8 more runs from his next 2 overs in 1 ball. So he's made the turnaround. This is really good bowling by Aponso.
So Prashad on strike. He's batted well for 9. And he goes into the onside. Stephen Taylor is the man there. And I want to think that Amila Aponso has really come prepared for his moment of being on Willow TV. The glasses, the hair. And he's done well bowling too.
Oh my goodness, yes. Left arm coming over the wicket. Bowling 2.
So Bhatia has come
Bhatia.
out here. 10 balls remaining, 98 for 7. They're on the verge of crossing that second milestone of their innings so far. Into the offside. Taylor has been quite reliable in the deep, Brian.
Absolutely. So Taylor, in years past, was excellent behind the stumps as a wicket-keeper batter. These days does more work in the outfield. Very safe pair of hands as you'd expect from somebody who ordinarily is a keeper.
So we saw the Philadelphians 50 coming up in the 9th over. They're on the verge of getting to 100. So here we go. Aponso to Prashad. And that's the 100 here for the Philadelphians. And in fact, more than 100. 103 to be exact. So the 100 comes up here for the Philadelphians. And it comes off a good-looking shot from Prashad. He picks up a boundary.
Good-looking shot. Sweeping that into the gap. Corner dry at mid-wicket. Not quite able to get there. That ball piercing the gap between mid-wicket and long on. Corner dry. Running to his left. Stephen Taylor coming to his right. But neither of them were going to be able to get that. So welcome runs here. You need a lot more. But you certainly welcome that boundary. Oh my goodness. And as soon as we say it, goes looking to attack. It's going to be a wide, but it doesn't matter. And in fact, it's certainly a wide. For those of you who don't know the rules of cricket, you cannot be out ordinarily off a no ball, but you can be out off of a wide. And here's the delivery outside the line in terms of where the umpire's guideline is. So it's a wide from that perspective. But looking to dance down the wicket is Prashad, missing completely. Jamar Hamilton, quick as a flash behind the stumps, and gets that stumping. So you accept a switch a wide for a stumping any day, and no question that you'll welcome that from the standpoint of the Atlanta Fire, because they've now gotten 8 wickets down, only 104 runs on the board, with another 8 legal deliveries to go.
So Sorry-Paul Islam comes to the middle, still 8 balls remaining. Seen a lightning bit of work from Jamar Hamilton, and I've always felt that some of the top teams, Brian, they have top wicket keepers. Such an important element that should never be overlooked in any top level team. Amila Aponso will. And Islam, after a bit of hesitation, has gone through for 1. Shiro Bhatia comes in to strike. And so we've got 7 balls remaining. The score is 105 for 8.
Yeah, the running between the wickets has not been very good for the Philadelphians today. A couple of run-outs, and even a couple that had there been a direct hit, that you may well have had more. And then a lot of yes, no, yes, no. So they have some cleanup to do as far as that's concerned. And then the bigger issue for them is that 104 runs make that 105 runs on the board. I don't think it's going to be anywhere near enough. Again, anything can happen in this sport, but Captain Aaron Jones would have been happy holding them under 150.
So final ball for Aponso's spell, 1 for 25, and he comes into Bhatia into the onside. He's quite happy with a single. And that single takes the score up to 106 for 8, 19 gone. So, got a final over coming up. It looks like Madaretti will bowl that final over. And Brian, we saw in the previous over, we saw a wide, a stumping. And the big question is asked, if a team is batting with 9 wickets down, the scores are leveled. You need 1 to win, and 1 wicket will end the game, and the bowler bowls a wide that is a stumping. Who wins that game?
In my untrained opinion, in my sometimes commentator but mostly businessman opinion, I think the wide would be more effective before the stumping. So I think the wide counts and the team that is batting wins the game. We have an expert umpire, the third umpire, Aditya Gajar, seated to our left. We'll probably get some clarification from him in a second to see how far off I am with that analysis.
So Matt already starts with a wide, no problems here at all. In terms of our discussion, of course, what I meant to say.
Sure.
And so it's 107 for 8. Brian, what's your take on could be the final score here with 6 legal balls still to be bowled?
Oh my goodness. I think the bigger issue, rather than predicting a specific number, even let's say they get 8 from this over, another 8, so they end up at 115. You're still needing less than a run a ball to win if you're the Atlanta Fire.
Or pumped over the offside. That's a lovely shot from Shiro Bhatia. And he picks up 4 valuable runs. A lovely shot from Shiro.
Absolutely. Again, you'll take any runs from this stage that you get. 5 more legal deliveries remaining, so you have to make hay while the sun shines. A little bit too wide by Madireddy, and he pumps it away, as you mentioned, over the top of cover, and a few bounces out there to the access road. But again, at the toss, Captain Aaron Jones of the Fire said anything that is less than 150 will be happy chasing.
So it's 111 for 8. Nelson.
111, all right? Wait, are both your feet on the ground?
So Brian, I read why is it called Nelson, and of course you can go check it out yourself on the internet. They say that the Nelson was named after a French general who loves cricket, and his name was Nelson. Interesting. But they said that that Nelson had 1 eye, 1 foot, and 1 arm. So 111. That's
very interesting. I did not know that.
So double Nelson is 222, and a triple Nelson is 333. Gale is a triple Nelson figure there.
Absolutely. We see again that replay of that ball, pouncing on it and getting it away over the top of cover for 4. Boy, you need all of these runs if you're Chiranchu Bhatia. 6 from 3 with that 1 boundary that you just saw.
So 5 balls remaining. We've seen Shiro Bhatia in the past. Brian, he's a top order batsman for this Philadelphian team. And so far he's come out here batting at number 9, but don't be fooled by the position that a batter bats. Swung into the onside, running quickly. Sarpul Islam. Oh, a bad bounce for Jamar Hamilton, and a couple of runs here. 113 for 8.
Well, you heard them immediately saying 2, because you know that Chiribati wants to get back on strike. And I don't mind them throwing towards the keeper's end, because the Atlanta Fire knew that was the objective, wanting to get him back on strike. So they went to the right end, as you mentioned, a bad bounce there, And Jamar Hamilton not able to collect it. Had he been able to collect that, he's out by a mile. He would not have even started sliding his bat yet.
So 4 balls remaining. Still looking for 120. 7 more will get them to run a ball game. And here is Ahmad already. Runs into ball to Shiranshu Bhatia. Into the hands of Stephen Taylor. One of the easiest catch he will take. And so that's the end of Shiro Bhatia. 113 for 9.
Yeah, Stephen Taylor will take many more difficult catches than that. Has taken many more difficult catches than that over the course of a very long career. Playing for the USA and for the Atlanta Fire. Just top edging that pull. No control over it, Shiro Bhatia. And here we see on the replay. Short delivery. And in fact, he was attempting to scoop that and nowhere near where that ball needed to be. And just landing very softly in the hands of Stephen Taylor at backward square. So wicket number 9 goes down. So the last pair coming to the wicket here, Lenny, with 113 on the board. And we'll see exactly how far they're able to go. I keep saying it. Aaron Jones wanted something less than 150 to try to chase. And I think he will be happy with the way that his troops have performed with the ball today.
So Abdul Jabbar. AJ comes to the middle. Brian's 113 for 9. 3 balls remaining. Madhu Reddy has gone for 7. He's picked up the wicket of Bhatia. And can they still get to 120? AJ on strike. So into the offside. Soripul Islam will come into strike. Easy single. And it comes down to the last 2 balls here for the Philadelphians. We've seen a good bowling performance from the Fire. Couple of wickets for Cornet Dry, couple of wickets for Madarati. And we saw one from Jay Patak. We saw a couple of runouts also. And the boys have really backed up their bowling with some very good fielding. Top edge. Top edge. It doesn't matter how they come. There's 4 runs in the card. And it comes off the bat of Soripul Islam. 118 for 9.
You will accept runs any way you get them. That ball going nowhere near where Soripul Islam intended. Looking to play that over mid-wicket. The top edge he will see now flying away to the top left of your screen. In fact, going right over the keeper's head, over Jamar Hamilton. And nobody in the deep at deep third. So fortuitous boundary, a boundary that counts just as well as it had been pulled through mid-wicket for 4. You don't care how the runs come at this stage. So 1 ball remaining in the innings now.
So Islam is on 5. Here's the final ball. 120 on the cards. Here is Maddy ready. That slower ball. Oh, it's a wide. So it's a wide. Will have to be rebowled. And Maddy Reddy has gone for 13 in this over.
Yeah, really wanted to not have Brian Kane raise his arms that time. Maddy Reddy bowling well so far. In the context of this game, this is a big over. 13 runs coming from it, but he has a wicket. But he's going to want to close out strongly here. Soripul Islam for the last ball.
Into the offside. Cornet Dry is having a very good game. Takes another catch. And so all out of the final ball of the 20th over, the Philadelphians, they fall for 119.
119 all out. So a nice clean run of ball for the Atlanta Fire to win. Cornet Dry with a good catch. Sliced away through the offside. Cornet Dry sweeping in that position at deep cover. And takes it, stoops down, takes it chest height. A simple catch for him. Took a much more difficult catch in that same position earlier. So that's the end of the innings. 119 is all that the Philadelphians could muster as we see the scorecard shortly. Here it comes. Derek Narine, Ryan Scott, Sivaram Shwarna, and Jonathan Fu all going without getting to double figures. Rajdeep Jabbar doing well, 21 from 14. Raj Nanan, 26 from 38. And Liam Plunkett with that partnership with Raj Nanan, I think is the most important partnership of the day. But it was never going to be enough, I don't think. Devashwara Prasad, 14, and he's the only other one in double figures as they get cleaned up all out for 119. The bowlers, I think, all did well. Starting with Stephen Taylor, You'll see him at the very top there. 4 overs, 1 for 12. Excellent. Again, 2 of those overs were in the power play. Corner drag, good game overall. 4 overs, 2 for 16. And Matty Reddy, a little expensive, most expensive of all the bowlers actually, but he did take 3 wickets. Milo Pansa bowled well after coming back into the attack, and then Hussain and Patak did their part down the order as well. So, Atlanta Fire needing the nice, clean estimate of 1 run a ball, a single off of every ball the rest of this match wins the game for the Atlanta Fire. We'll be back in about 15 minutes for the chase. Join us right here. Give us about maybe 15 minutes or so. We'll join you here on the other side of this break.
Sent at the top of the order. And you're right on that, Brian. Stephen Taylor would love the advantage of bowling and getting the ball again. And the Ryan top edge into the onside, easy catch. And the first wicket.
Here the bowler, batter, and he bowled him, he knocked him over. Look at that. Stephen Taylor.
Lovely shot from Jonathan Fu. Swept and swept over square leg. So ball pulled into the onside. That's a lovely shot from Rajdeep Darbar. Heading. Oh, that's another lovely shot. Up and over. Off the bat of Rajdeep Darbar. So ball driven through the covers of the bat of Rajdeep Darbar. Into the offside. More runs here for Rajdeep Darbar.
And who's going to win it?
So ball away into the offside. Fielder comes in. We talk about the direct. So ball. Wow. Struck and struck well from Raj.
48. I don't know whether or not that's out of reach, but then again, this is lofted down the ground. It may be within reach. That is a huge 6 using the feet well. So Lenny, we're back. This is the second delivery of the over. And
pulled. It doesn't time it well, but he could pick up 4 in front of Steve.
Division in the league.
So lofted shot into the offside. He's given someone a chance. And the big partnership of 47 comes to a break.
Sliced away. That goes away for 4. Apologies, Lenny. I jumped all over you.
Ball into the offside. Wants a single. Where are you going, Raj Nanan? He's camper. Oh my goodness. Go. Aponso to Prashad. And that's the 100 here for the Philadelphians. And in fact, more than 100. 100.
Oh my goodness. You're the Atlanta Fire.
Ball pumped over the offside. That's a lovely shot from Shiro Bhatia. And Shiranshu Bhatia. Into the hands of Stephen Taylor. Oh, top edge. Top edge. It doesn't matter how they come. There's 4 runs.
Last ball.
Into the offside. Corner Dry is having a very good game. Takes another catch. And so all out.
You're watching the Sunoco Minor League Cricket Championship, brought to you by our 2023 partners.
Welcome back to the Prairie View Cricket Complex, field number 1. Probably the most straightforward of chases, on paper at least, for the Atlanta Fire. They need to score at exactly 1 run a ball to win, as they have 120 balls in which to get 120 runs. And Lenny, the new ball bowler, is somebody who would have played for England for a number of years, featured in the major leagues earlier this year in Dallas. And he really is going to be tasked with something that's very, very difficult, holding a strong Atlanta Fire team under 120 runs. Liam Plunkett with the new ball in hand.
So Taylor on strike. And Taylor gets off the mark. Lendell Simmons, as you made mention, has come in to join Stephen Taylor. So things are on the way here for the Atlanta Fire. And Brian, well, you can't keep your eyes now on 119, but you still can. This 119 is becoming a number that is playing here for the Philadelphians. We saw yesterday they were chasing 119 posted by the Cavaliers. And today, they've made 119. I wonder why.
Well, Lenny, in Jamaica, it may be this way in Guyana also. Emergency number is 119. And I think it would take some kind of emergency, as that ball is outside the line of off stump. It would take some type of emergency for the Atlanta Fire to find themselves in the position where they might be losing this match, because I think they bat very heavily, very deep. Then Lendell Simmons obviously played for West Indies for that number of years, plays for Trinidad, and of course several years on from those heights is still a very effective batter at the top of the order. And then Stephen Taylor playing for the U.S. for the number of years that he has. So it will not be easy to control this team and keep them anywhere near the target. I think something around the lines of 160, 170 might have posed a challenge. 111 or make that 120 for me is just too small a target to set.
So with Taylor on 1, it's 119 to win. 119 scored by Somerset Cavaliers yesterday. And 119 put on. Oh, the stumps gone for a walk. And Liam Plunkett has taken out Lendell Simmons in just the 4th ball in this over.
I mentioned the target was 120. That shot would have been a shot that you would play if the target was 220. You literally win this game if you hit singles off of every ball. Lendell Simmons looking to attack the best bowler on the side. Look at him run down the pitch, go swinging wildly across the line, looking to play that to mid-wicket. Boy, all he does now is tuck his bat under his arm and walks off, because he knows that he committed a cardinal error here. Looking to swing, oh my goodness. Just taking on Liam Plunkett, again, like he was chasing a target that's about 100 runs more than the actual target is, and losing his off stump, paying the price for that injudicious stroke. 1 run on the board, 1 wicket down.
So a good start here by Liam Plunkett and the Philadelphians. Not a big score to work with. And Brian, the only effect that the likes of Liam Plunkett and company who gets a chance to bowl will have to take wickets early. And Plunkett has taken out Lendell Simmons.
You have to take wickets early, and often you're not going to restrict the Atlanta Fire to something like 114 for 8 or 114 for 7. The 2 things will happen is that either the Atlanta Fire will win by some number of wickets, or the Philadelphians will bowl them out. Those are the only 2 options. And so you have to take wickets. Aaron Jones, interestingly, promoting himself up the order, coming in at 1 down.
So both of these teams would have earned points yesterday. And it comes down to Aaron Jones, who's coming to face Plunkett, full face of the bat. And we've seen a very good start from Liam Plunkett. He's taken out Lendell Simmons, a beauty of a delivery. And I made mention yesterday when Peter and I were on commentary, we were talking about the delight of a fast bowler is to see that stumps knocked out of the ground.
Well, that would have been the case when you and I were playing, Lenny, but the added element of them lighting up while they go tumbling across the turf adds to that exact imagery. Brilliant first over by Liam Plunkett. 1 run scored, 1 wicket down.
So Sivaram Swarna has been given the ball. And I haven't seen much of Swarna, but he's come ahead of some other bowling option. Prashad, we saw, got a 5 wicket yesterday. We saw Raj Nanan bowling the new ball yesterday, the leg spinner. We've seen Jonathan Fu, the captain himself. So they've turned to Swarna. And Taylor on strike. They're batting at 1 for 1. Oh my goodness, into the hands of Swarna. Tough chance, but one that goes down.
Oh, how easily could this have been 1 for 2 with both openers back in the shed? Stephen Taylor striking this pretty fiercely. He's a very, very powerfully built man. And look at this. Struck hard, but back at a catchable height to Swarna. And boy, you have to say, in a game where you have to bowl out the opposition, you have to take that catch.
Oh, big appeal. They've gone up. Rajdeep Darbar has come up with a good take. And umpire Billy Taylor says not out. So a couple of good balls here from Swarna. One, a tough drop chance. And the second one, a big appeal.
Going past the outside edge. The entire team going up, so they heard something. But umpire Billy Taylor is unmoved. Umpire Billy Taylor, very experienced umpire, as we talked about before. So I don't think that there is anything that would cause you to change your mind regarding the accuracy of that decision. But 2 good dot balls. And again, you're in the position where you have to bowl out the opposition. So change in the field, because that shot by Stephen Taylor tells you that he's going to be targeting this area here. And he's bowling around the wicket to him. That opens up the offside potentially.
So ball driven into the offside. Abdul Jabbar has a lot of work to do. He does well. Save a couple of runs. Good effort here from Abdul Jabbar. 2 runs to Stephen Taylor.
Brilliant, brilliant work. Stephen Taylor getting off the mark with that lovely looking shot. In fact, it was already off the mark, but that adds 2 more runs to his total. Tell me if you agree with me on this. Swarna's delivery looks like a right-handed Sohail Tanvir. Look when he releases. There.
Yeah, you're right on that. Similar action. And that element of surprise, Brian, probably landing a bit awkward in the build-up for ball release. So
exactly.
Aaron Jones comes into strike. And how good has Aaron Jones been in yesterday's game?
Aaron Jones was very good in yesterday's game. Came in when his team was in a spot of bother. Again, chasing less than cooked total and undercooked total. So they didn't have very many runs to go after. But the top order failed. Stephen Taylor went early. The opening batter also. The other opening batter went early. And then Lendl Simmons went for a very cheap score. So they were wobbling when when Jones came in. But they did well to steady the ship. He'll be asked to play a similar role here. And as the captain, he will know that he has to take the responsibility. Once again, bearing in mind, you're not chasing a very big total. You're chasing only 120 runs.
So ball outside the off stump, and the Philadelphians have opted to go with Swarna. We've seen Liam Plunkett in the last over. Big strike, took out Lendl Simmons, and it's down now to Stephen Taylor and Aaron Jones and the others to come if they come. But you mentioned not a big chase, but Brian, this, you never know what happens. Good take here from Darbar. Ball sliding down the leg side, and umpire Billy Taylor signals a wide to the scoring table.
All that is required is just sensible, non-enterprising cricket. And Aaron Jones is a solid batter, can attack, but is very solid in defense ordinarily. So that's exactly what the situation calls for.
So the second over comes to a close. 2 gone is 5 for 1. So Plunkett continues. Taylor gets a good ball. Squeezes a single out into the offside. And brings Aaron Jones back onto strike. Aaron Jones has been part of the U.S. setup for some years now. 14-1 international, 80-20 international. And I made the point, Brian, that he has not really enjoyed a very good season this year, but these games, they come to these business end of things here, and sometimes it doesn't matter what you have done during the earlier part of the season. It comes down to these final set of games.
Well, they say big game players come up in big games. And I would classify Aaron Jones as a big game player. So maybe the returns for the season have not been what he's been looking for. But he's exactly the man for this moment here.
So edged onto the pad. They'll go through for 1. And how important has Liam Plunkett been to this Philadelphian side, Brian?
I think it's, at this age or the stage of his career, he's about 35 years old. So his best cricket is probably behind him. Obviously played at the highest level. Would have been on the World Cup winning in England side in 2019. But his experience, his professionalism, and still at his age even, a good strike bowler. Exactly what is needed at this stage for the Philadelphians. And he's setting the tone early here. Several good delivers. 2 delivers into over number 3. So this is his 10th delivery that was just bowled. You've only scored 3 runs off of him so far. So building the pressure, if you're going to win this game, you have to build pressure. There you see that ball sailing past Stephen Taylor's attempted drive. Liam Plunkett doing exactly what he needs to do here.
So ball pulled into the onside. Abdul Jabbar makes a very good save. He's had to come into play for a couple of times. Yes, Brian, you're right on that. As we have seen, that it looks like the perfect model of local franchise is to build with a lot of local players, local talent, and then to probably pick up 1 or 2 big overseas / past international talent. That exactly what is played on here. But as in the case of the Philadelphians, Liam Plunkett lives in Philadelphia. So 3 overs gone, it's 8 for 1.
Lenny, you asked me the question about the stumping earlier. We have official confirmation from the great Owen Brown, umpire in the minor leagues from right here in the Houston area by way of Jamaica, Montego Bay. And of course was one of the umpires in the major league setup. Just sent me a message that says, quote, "You are correct about the stumping, sir." So I raised my hand And a virtual high five from here to Owen Brown. Thank you for the confirmation, Obi.
So Swarna will continue 8 for 1. And Taylor cracks this one into the offside, finds the gap, and look at that. That has gone away for 4. So a lovely shot into the offside, vacant area. And Taylor picks up 4.
Lovely looking shot. Taylor does not take any chances, no risks, but this is a hit me ball outside the line of off, allowing Taylor to open those shoulders, those broad shoulders, and spank that through the covers for 4.
So ball upish in the air, straight to mid-off. Prashad is posted there, and Brian, 108 from 100 balls. We've seen the fall of Lendl Simmons, but you know Stephen Taylor and Aaron Jones. It's gonna be tough here, but the Philadelphians will have to come up with plans to pick up a couple more wickets if they are to make an impact.
Jonathan Fu making a couple of moves. Liam Plunkett now moving into position. Short cover, catching position. You have to take wickets. I like the move. That is lofted though. 2 straight. You have a man at short cover, then you immediately bowl one on the pads from around the wicket. That is not going to trouble Stephen Taylor at all. Lofting that well over, extra over, backward square leg for 4.
Yeah, the line is totally wrong here from Swarna. And you made mention, a couple of fielders came into place. We saw an extra cover.
Yep.
And one a little bit more square in catching position. And Swarna serves up a ball down the leg side. Taylor quickly obliges, and he's picked up another boundary.
Yep. Oh, what a lovely shot. What an absolutely lovely shot. Very little flourish. Meets that one right under his eyes like the coach tells you, and it races away for 4 more. Excellent batting by Stephen Taylor.
Yeah, another lovely shot. These are the shots that you get a throwdown just before the game. Look, that's what you do just before the game. You hit it into a wall. And a lovely shot again from Stephen Taylor. He's gone quickly up to 18, and this over's gone for 3 4s.
Brilliant batting for Stephen Taylor. I think the line that Swarna is bowling, that last delivery was on the right line. I think the other 3 have been too far outside off or too straight. And again, you're bowling around the wicket, so you're slanting the ball into Stephen Taylor. You're asking him essentially to play on the leg side unless that ball is outside off.
So ball goes into the area in which they were planning to block up and planning to execute a catch. So the 4th over comes to a close. Good start here from the Atlanta Fire. They're batting at 21 for 1. So Islam has been given the ball, 21 for 1. And will come into ball to Stephen Taylor. How good has Stephen Taylor been so far? 3 4s in the last over, all of them very classy.
Well, he's 19 from 14. Once again, the game right now for the Philadelphians is to take wickets. I loved the aggression shown in the last over with the field setting, not exactly supported by Swarna, but you have to take wickets.
So ball mistimed into the onside, can't score. And Brian, when you look at the matchups here between the Philadelphians and the Atlanta Fire, it was one of those matchups that you you yearn to see. It was pitting an Eastern team against one from the South. Philadelphians have spent the entire season playing with the likes of Somerset Cavaliers we saw yesterday. And of course with the likes of the Empire State Titans, Manhattan Yorkers, and so on and so forth. But they get a chance to really match their skill and talent with a Southern team who has done pretty well from the Southern Zone. And in fact, when you look at the two Atlanta teams, the Atlanta Lightning, the Atlanta Fire, they have come here to Texas hoping to move on. And they've done well in restricting the Philadelphians to just 119 runs. They're batting at 22 for 1.
Oh, boy. Aaron Jones throws his head to the sea or to the skies. Nailed that one, but only finding a fielder at short cover. 1 yard to either side of him, and that is 4 runs.
And you look at this Fire team. This is the shot from Aaron Jones. Would have gone away for 4.
Oh my goodness, yes.
AJ in the way. 22 for 1. Jones on strike. And he gets a ball wide-ish outside the off stump. And the other thing, Brian, when you look at this Atlanta Fire team, we saw last year they were into the overall final. And you look the year before, they were taken out by the Empire State Titans in that 2021 playoff phase.
Mm-hmm.
So they've always produced good results, and they come into 2023 looking to go very deep in this tournament. Sliced away. That's a good looking shot from Aaron Jones. Well placed. And he now picks up a boundary.
Yeah, gave him a little bit of width. The youngster, Sorpul Islam, getting that one just too wide. And that really is a hit-me ball. Nobody in the deep behind point. And all Aaron Jones had to do was get it wide of that fielder at backward point, and it races away in that region for 4. Welcome boundary. Once again, you're only needing to score at the overall rate of 6 runs and over. So that scoring rate is not going to be something that bothers them as long as they continue scoring.
So wide is the call from umpire Brian Kane. And just coming back to their 2022 season, they would have lost in the final to the Seattle Thunderbolts. And so the Fire, Brian, will be hoping that they can get back on that final weekend, that final stage. It's coming up this Sunday.
Certainly would be what they'd be looking to have happen. Whoa. Out that edge this time. Sliced away by Aaron Jones. Same area. That gap has been covered. And so the ball only goes to that fielder. 1 run coming from that last delivery. That is the end of 5. One over left in the power play. 7 from that over. Scores 28 for 1. Lenny, you alluded to a question that you wanted to ask me. I want you to ask me that question because I have one in return for you.
Suraj Nanan comes into the attack. It's 28 for 1, Brian. Shoot it.
It will take some time to lay out. It's hard to do with the spinner in operation. When the next pacer comes on, I will give it to you.
So ball steered into the onside, and Aaron Jones picks up another run. And Brian, when you look at how important it is if Atlanta Fire wins this game now, They won yesterday, so they will be 2-2. And they will take on the Cavaliers next. That's coming up tomorrow. The question is if Atlanta Fire is to win this game, you get the feeling that they're going to be in a strong position here to finish at the top come Friday afternoon, because we've seen Lightning losing one. And if Philadelphia loses here, well, they will lose one. This one guided into the offside. Taylor picks up a cheeky run.
Interesting. So guiding that ball right to backward point, but look at how quickly Aaron Jones recognizes the opportunity for a run and takes off running. He is running to the danger end. So that's an example of great running between the wickets. I think the difference between these two sides. You saw some poor running between the wickets when Philly was batting. This is swept away, though, powerfully. That's not a cheeky single. That is hammered away through backward square for 4.
Yeah, that's a lovely shot from Aaron Jones. Just allowing the ball to pitch, and look at that. Swept it from probably turning towards off. And look at that. Good swing of the bat, good position of the feet. And it's a lovely shot from Aaron Jones. And we made the point that Aaron Jones, he seems to be always a big stage player.
Yes.
So the Fire certainly on top here. Not a big score to chase, and they've started well. We've seen the early departure of Lendell Simmons. Other than that, Taylor 21, Jones 12, 35 for 1.
Running between the wickets, for me, is the difference in this game. Yes, you're going to have a boundary ball every once in a while, but what happens outside of those boundary balls? It means communication between the two batters and taking advantage of any of those opportunities. Just almost wanting to go for another one there. This time, Jonathan Fu at mid-wicket prevents that single. But the understanding is really good between this pair. 7 runs from this over, 7 runs from the over before that, 13 from the over before that. So they've picked up the scoring rate. And they've looked, for me, like they're marching assuredly toward what should be, in theory, a comprehensive victory. Single to close things out in the power play. That's done and dusted. Scoring exactly at the rate at which they need to score to win this game. 6 overs, 36 runs on the board. They need another 84. Be right back. Might not get to the story.
So Jonathan Fu, the captain, comes into the attack at 37 for 1, 84 from 84. So we're just outside of the power plays. The captain, the off spinner, comes into the attack. We've seen a solid Aaron Jones and Stephen Taylor. And Brian, I get the feeling that Atlanta Fire journey to Sunday's grand finale could be made easier, because on the other game we saw the Lightning struggling a bit against Somerset Cavaliers. And any chance for the Lightning to pick up wins in this phase of the tournament could go up in smoke, as we see the Cavaliers are doing pretty well on the other game. And for all our viewers, if you want to catch up on the other games, you can go to minor league cricket clubs, and you can follow all the games. And you can pick up a lot more stats, a lot more figures if you're a figure person, if you're a numbers person. All the stats of who has done well and all the previous scorecard, you can always pick those up to minor league cricket clubs. That's where I get all my information from. And Jonathan Fu will come into bowl to Aaron Jones. He's batted solidly for 12 so far. Into the offside. Ryan Scott runs around and limiting that shot to only a single.
Oh, that's a great piece of fielding by Ryan Scott. Running to his left, and it's never easy in the outfield when you're running to your left as a right-hander. adjusting himself in time and throwing a bullet that was right over the top of the stumps. Good piece of fielding. That's what you need in the field when you're trying to defend a low total.
And I made the point. This one into the onside. They're running good, and they've made 38 run partnership so far. And I'm making the point here for the Atlanta Fire. If they win this game, they could be the only team with 2 wins in this phase. It's gonna be tough for anybody to catch them if the Lightning lose.
I would agree with that.
And so that could come back to my prediction of being partly correct. If I predicted that the Fire could be the team playing on Sunday, how much did we bet again?
We didn't bet anything, so don't even start. So, one ball remaining. This is a good over, by the way, by Jonathan Fu. Just 1 ball remaining. 4 runs conceded from the over so far. Stephen Taylor back on strike.
So Taylor decides to go big. Oh, into the hands of Liam Plunkett. And boy, that would have been a catch had he hold on to that one. Taylor escapes, and he may have picked up 6 runs in that process.
He absolutely picked up 6. Liam Plunkett palming that one over the goal post. If you're a soccer fan, he's right in position. Looking at this though, he was about 1.5 yards, maybe 2 yards inside the rope. So you ask the question, could he have gone back another yard or so, and he would have taken that comfortably at head height? That's the end of the over. 46 for 1 after 7.
Raj Nanan, we've seen a solid pair of knocks here from Aaron Jones. He's on 14. Stephen Taylor is on 30. And Stephen Taylor would have given Swarner a very tough chance in the first over. But that's how the game plays sometimes, Brian. Raj Nanan will continue. First over gone for 8. And ball eased into the onside, and Aaron Jones and Stephen Taylor knows that 1s and 2s could win this game. With 73 to win from 77 balls, they're up to a solid start here.
1s and 2s literally could win this game. 1s could win this game because the required rate is now back under 6. It's now 5.69. You need another 73 runs in 77 balls. So no need to take any risks if you're Stephen Taylor and Aaron Jones.
So playing a miss, or whether or not it came off the edge, it's hard to tell from here, but Stephen Taylor is really batted well. We've seen Taylor so far, 3 4s and 1 6. We saw the 6 in the last over. A chance. Oh, look at this. Into the onside. Straight into the hands of, it looks like, Swarner. And that's the end of Stephen Taylor, 47 for 2.
That was not exactly there for that shot, and we just made the point that you can win this game in singles. So you have to question whether or not Stephen Taylor needed to play that shot. Choosing to go big, attempt to clear that fielder long on, not getting anywhere near the middle of the bat. Stephen Taylor trying to drag this from well outside off, playing it away on the onside. And the simple catch down to long on lands right in his lap. That is the end of Stephen Taylor. 30 from 24 with 3 4s and a 6. But that does open up another opportunity for the Philadelphians. Again, only defending 120 runs, so you have to take 10 wickets. But you're 2/10 of the way there, 1/5 of the way through the side, 47 for 2. That gives us some time for me to ask the question I needed to ask you. 2 legal deliveries have been bowled, the only 2 deliveries in the match so far. 2 legal deliveries, The score is 8 without loss. Each of the two batters has 4 runs. How does that happen? Do you need for me to repeat the question, sir? 2 deliveries bowled in a match. Each of the opening batters has 4 runs against their name, and the score is 8 without loss.
So Jamar Hamilton.
By the way, if you are listening to us and you have an answer, I'm not going to say the answer just yet as Jamar Hamilton comes to the crease. This one down the leg side. They'll take, I believe this is going to be wide. Yep. So 2 wides. If you are listening to us and have a response, feel free to find us at MIL Cricket on Twitter or X and let me hear whatever response you have to that question. I will ask it one more time. The first 2 deliveries of a match were bowled. At the end of each delivery, at the end of 2 deliveries, the score is 8 without loss. Each opening batter has 4 runs. How does that happen?
So the 50 comes up here for the Atlanta Fire. And it comes in the 8th over. Aaron Jones is on 16. Jamar Hamilton has yet to face a ball. He's would have gotten across because of a couple of wides. Very solid in defense. And so the Atlanta Fire, they need 70 from the next 73 balls. And the Atlanta Fire, Brian, you get the feeling that they've put themselves in a strong position here to finish as the Atlantic team heading up to Sunday championship game. 8 overs gone, 50 for 2.
Don't say it again. He did not have his headphones on. Don't say it, Roddy. Don't say it, Roddy. Don't say it again. He didn't have the headphones on.
So Abdul Jabbar given the ball. And he comes in here with 70 to win from 72 ball, 50 on the board. Jones is on 6. Jamar Hamilton has just come to the crease, yet to get off the mark. But we've seen a very good knock so far from Aaron Jones. We saw a good knock from Stephen Taylor for 30. And ball cut away into the offside. Nanan does well to keep the ball in play, Brian. And we're still waiting to get to your trivia.
Well, I will say, as that ball is forced down to long on for a single, that the great Roddy Lauman with SC Tekken Productions nailed the answer exactly. You just happened to not have your headset on at that time, so you unfortunately missed out. And Roddy is going to keep it a secret away from you.
I wonder if short runs come into play, but I don't know. So Jamar Hamilton is looking for a couple of runs. They will only settle for 1. And Atlanta Fire, they need 68 to win from 69 balls.
You literally just said the right answer.
Yeah, I'm just wondering. Looking for 3 run. Well, not this. These guys are not looking for 3 here, but
you're talking all over the right answer right now, actually.
So the batters are batting. They run 3, 1 is short. New man on strike, he hits a 4.
Then that gives you 6 runs. You're saying the right answer. You just need to finish the thought.
So into the offside, Hamilton can't score. So it's 67 to win from 67 balls. And we've seen a very good over from Abdul Jabbar, but this is one of the days in which bowling an over that concedes only 5 and 6 may not work, Brian. They need wickets here. 9 gone, it's 53 for 2. Okay, so the short.
Tell him though.
So 67 to win from 66 balls.
Taking wickets almost always slows down the scoring rates. And we've said a couple of times, it is only bowling out the Atlanta Fire that the Philadelphians can win this match.
So Prashad comes into the attack. We saw yesterday he picked up a 5-wicket haul. And he comes in here, Brian, trying to make an impact with 53 runs on the board already. 67 to win from 66 ball. Jones is on 18. Jones has really batted well. And Jamar Hamilton is on 1. Here is Prashad. Goes down the leg side. Umpire Billy Taylor turns towards the scoring table. Not a good sign for a bowling team when he turns to the table.
Well, if you're defending a low total, you cannot have any extras. Plain and simple. And they've generally bowled well. 5 extras as this is lofted into the deep. 1 bounce for 4. So you cannot bowl any extras. And your lines and lengths have to be spot on. He's bowling Prashad from over the wicket, looking to slant the ball across the right-handers as a left-handed bowler, but this ball is too straight. It pitches outside the line of leg stump, so no threat of that being given LBW if the batter had missed, and in fact he connects sweetly for 4.
So again, ball sliding down the leg side, and Brian, how fair it is for these Philadelphians bowler to bowl for 119.
You're only defending another 61 runs, so you're almost halfway there. A single will take you exactly at the halfway point, and you still have 64 balls to go as that ball is just pushed defensively back down the pitch. You have to take wickets, and so the Atlanta Fire, by virtue of them having a relatively low target, are well in front of this game.
So ball into the onside again. Jones continues to bat on well. He's up to 23 and brings the equation down to 60 to win from 63. A couple of wins for the Atlanta Fire will really put them in a good position. Tomorrow is their final game against the Cavaliers. And on the other hand, if the Philadelphians lose this one, we saw them getting points yesterday, and they'll be 1-1. And they come up tomorrow. I think they're playing the Lightning tomorrow, so anything can happen there. 60 for 2. And you get the feeling that the Atlanta Fire could put themselves in a very strong position here for the latter part of the tournament. 61 for 2.
Yeah, this one just played into the offside. You know, we hate to be repetitive, but singles wins you this game easily. The required rate now 5.8. You need another 59 runs in 61 balls. So you're almost at the halfway stage of the innings. You've just passed the halfway stage in terms of the target number of runs remaining. That's another single down to deep mid-wicket, Jamar Hamilton. And Captain Aaron Jones taking no risks so far, and that's exactly that type of approach will win them this game. That is the end of 10 62 for 2.
So that's where we at, 62 for 2. And it looks like Aaron Jones is in cruising altitude. He's batted well for 24. Jamar Hamilton just playing a supporting role, and they need 58 to win from 60 ball. Jabbar continues.
Pretty straightforward chase the rest of the way. So Aaron Jones, as you mentioned, at cruising altitude, striking it less than a run of ball, 24 from 26, but that will not bother him one bit. Reverse sweep. Coming out with that reverse sweep. Umpire Brian Kane turning down the appeal for leg before. Watch to see here. In fact, yes, he will signal leg by. It's an interesting, we mentioned cruising altitude. I don't know necessarily that a reverse sweep is what this moment calls for. Do you take net run rate considerations in as part of the calculus in determining how you chase these runs?
Yeah, and I'm surprised Aaron Jones is such a quality player, orthodox.
Yep.
So Jabbar will continue to Jones, and Jones into the onside. And every passing run that goes by here, Brian Walters, the Philadelphians could see this match slipping from their grasp.
That is exactly right. Oh my goodness. So he tries the reverse sweep, misses out, gets, in fact, that is Jamar Hamilton on strike. My apologies. So the reverse sweep tried by Aaron Jones didn't come off. Jamar Hamilton trying the conventional sweep, plays all around a full straight one. My sense is that this is not a ball that you try to sweep. Look at this. Walking right across, looking to sweep, and gets bowled behind his back. That is certainly not what this moment calls for. And wicket number 3 goes down. You are helping the Philadelphians to get back into this game. I would have to say this is some injudicious stroke play by the Atlanta Fire.
So corner dry, he walks to the middle. Whether or not the Philadelphians can defend 55.
It's actually Obaspinar who's coming into bat.
Similar in stature, I would think.
Very similar in build, and with the helmet on, it becomes difficult to tell. Just taking another look at this. Walking right across his stumps, walking well to the offside, and looking to sweep a full straight one, and loses his leg stump behind his back. One of the more disappointing ways to get out. Nobody ever wants to get out, but you also don't want to help the opposition to get you out. I'd have to say that that's what Jamar Hamilton did there.
So Pinar comes to the middle, 55 to win from 57 balls. Abdul Jabbar has picked up 1. And we come down to a very interesting part. Interesting passage of play. Can the Philadelphians snare 1 or 2 more and makes it quite interesting here, Brian?
Well, 1 or 2 more and the cat is among the pigeons, as they say. Obaspinar, a solid batter, very, very accomplished, experienced, and knows how to manage situations like this. I don't think that you're going to see a reverse sweep or anything along those lines from Obaspinar.
And so essentially the batting stability will be a lot dependent on how well Aaron Jones does in the next remaining 55 balls.
Yes.
Full toss, he gets off the mark, will retain strike when player resumes. 11 gone, it's 66 for 3. So Raj Nanan will continue. 2 overs. No made 1 for 12. Picked up the wicket of Stephen Taylor. And we come down to 54 from 54, Brian.
Straightforward chase. We've been saying that all along. Obas Pinar facing up to the left-handed spinner Rajnanan, so any amount of turn will be away from Obas Pinar, bowling around the wicket. Oh, that one rushing onto him. Does well to keep it out.
And you get the feeling, Brian, that the batting style of Pinar, a chase like this will certainly suit him. This one into the onside, and he goes up to 2 and brings that equation back to almost run a ball, 53 to win.
So you cannot give anything away here if you're the Philadelphians. So you have to be spot on with your field changes, looking at the leg side. Nobody in front of square on the leg side inside the circle. So there's acres and acres of space. They're trying to tempt Aaron Jones to play across the spin to get the ball coming in this direction.
It's a bit of a leading edge, no score. Rajananana's bowled pretty well in this over. What has gone wrong with this Philadelphians batting lineup today?
They just didn't bat well. It just, again, some injudicious stroke play at the top. The opening bowlers were really sharp for the Atlanta Fire. Corner drive looked really good, really hostile. Stephen Taylor bowled very well economically and really well supported by those backup bowlers. So, again, I don't think there was anything close to the number of runs that they needed. In the meantime, though, the approach taken by the Fire is one that suggests that they want this game to remain close because, again, it's just a matter of knocking the ball into the gaps and getting singles. That's really all they needed to do with a target of 120.
So 2 runs in this over. This has been a very good one here from Raj Nanan, but how much or how long can you contain? So here's the final ball. And Pinar picks up another single. So that will conclude the 12th over. And after 12, they're batting a 69 for 3. They need 51 to win this game. So Abdul Jabbar will continue. Excellent bowling figure so far. 1 for 5 in 2 overs. And he will come in to bowl with 51 needed from 48 balls. And a couple of left arm spinner. We've seen Raj Nanan, and here is Abdul Jabbar. And ball stroked into the offside. Shiran Shubatia is the fielder. And it comes down to this last 50 runs for the Fire.
50 to go, 70 on the board, 50 to get in 47 balls. Once again, pretty straightforward chase from here, you would think. Ooh, staying in the air. Probably didn't mean to play it in the air that much, Aaron Jones, but Jonathan Fu nowhere near that delivery. Passing 2 straight for him, down the ground for a single.
Yeah, we saw earlier on the entire top order of the Philadelphians didn't really get going. Ryan Scott for 1, Derek Narine for 1. We saw Swarner batting at number 3. He fell for 2, and Jonathan Fu for 7. And you get the feeling with 119. The question is, how much in a T20 game can 119 buy you?
If you're playing on a surface that does not have any devils in it, and an outfield that is as fast as this one is here in Prairie View. This is slammed away close toward extra cover. Work for extra cover fielder to do. Good sliding stop, but they'll get 2. If you're playing on such a field, 119 runs keeps you in the game for a minimal amount of time. Unless you are helped by the chasing side who decides to be too adventurous or too enterprising. And I think you've seen some evidence of that here by the Atlanta Fire. But in theory, 119 runs in conditions like this should not be very difficult.
So ball that goes through the defense of Pinar, but 73 for 3, 47 runs needed. And you get the feeling, Brian, you're not asking for a whole lot.
No.
They made 119. Look, another 25 more runs, 144 could have been probably a better score to bowl at. 13 overs gone, 73 for 3. So 13 overs gone, 73 for 3. Jones is on 27. Raj Nanan continues. 1 for 15 in 3, so he will finish up here. Ball eased into the onside by Aaron Jones. He's not had one of the best seasons, but still some runs for him. We saw he got a 58 for, against the Raptors. As being one of his standout score, came into this phase with 172 runs in the series. And you would have seen him yesterday, Brian, got among some runs.
Certainly got amongst the runs. The assignment here is different. Chased again yesterday, 1 chasing, and asking you to score nothing close to the number of runs that were needed yesterday. From memory, I think the target was about 150. They won it without much fuss. Oh, looking to sweep. Given him. Aaron Jones looking to sweep this away away on the leg side. Gets trapped in front, missing a straight one. Back to what we were saying, Lenny. Injudicious strokes at the wrong moment is keeping this game close. Aaron Jones looking to sweep this one, I think, right off middle stump. And I think this is too full to sweep. Raj Nanan pulling straight and going, oh my goodness, on the back leg in front of middle stump. It has, and in fact, not often that you see a batter almost start walking from an LBW shout. I think you almost saw that there. He knows that he was dead in front. And another wicket goes down. So just to finish up on something we were talking about earlier, and a couple of people have responded saying, why are you asking these hard questions? 2 batters or 2 deliveries into an innings. The score is 8 without loss, and each batter has 4. How does that happen? Well, simple. First delivery is knocked into the gap. The batters run 5, or at least attempt to run 5, but one of those runs is adjudged to be short, and so only 4 runs score to the total, and the non-striker becomes a striker, who then hits a conventional 4, and that is how you have 8 runs with each batter having 4. Thank you all for playing.
So it looks like Jay Patak has come to the middle. And he comes in here with 45 to win from 39 balls. Brian, can the Philadelphians pull out one with 45 runs to defend? We've seen the fall of Aaron Jones, who looked solid while he was in there. Nanan has picked up 2. And now we come down to the mid 14th over here as Jay Patak has called for the helmet, or is a requirement that all batters gets the protection of a helmet, Brian. 75 for 4.
I love that rule. Didn't know it existed, but I like that rule. You know, Lenny, you and I probably didn't bat with helmets much when we were playing. The only time I've ever been hit in the face while batting has been when a spinner was bowling, and I had a helmet. I did not have a helmet on. That's as badly as ever been hurt on a cricket field. So, despite the fact that somebody's not running in from distance and delivering at 85 miles an hour, you can still be hurt from a spinner. You all remember that Mark Boucher, the former keeper for the South African national side, ended his career when he was keeping up to the stumps to a spinner, was not wearing a helmet, and the ball disturbed the stumps and the bail flicked up, and he had the most horrific of injuries where the bail went into his eye. So regardless of whether or not it's a pace bowler bowling, you can be hurt, whether in front of or behind the stumps, and I think I like the fact that this rule is in position.
So if there's a time for the Philadelphians is to make a push to defend 45, they could seize on the opportunity here with Jay Patak, the new batter, out in the middle. And he gets off the mark quite quickly. Brian Walters, we've seen him before, Jay Patak, certainly not a slouch with the bat.
He is not. Jay Patak has been around for a really long time. I've known him since he was a teenager playing in Colorado. And he has been an all-rounder for a really long time. Very frankly, known more for his exploits with the bat than with the ball. Usually he doesn't bat six down. He bats higher up the order. So he's a very good batter. And this situation simply calls for somebody to just control the situation and push the ball around and pick up singles where they present themselves. That really is what you need from here.
So 2 for 19 so far. In fact, 2 for 18 from Raj Nanan. He will bowl his final ball in this game. 3.5 so far. Here's the final ball to Pinar. And ball stroked into the offside. Easy single. So that will complete the 14th over. 14 gone. The Philadelphians are defending 43 more runs. It's 77 for 4. So Abdul Jabbar will continue. 3 overs, no made, 1 for 9. He's been pretty economical. But it comes down to the bowlers who can probably pick up a wicket or two. Pinar has been solid so far. And ball pulled into the onside, running up towards the mid-wicket boundary. The fielder gives up the chase. And that will ease some pressure here for the Atlanta Fire. 4 runs to Obos Pinar.
So again, you take advantage of scoring opportunities when they present themselves without taking any risks. This is a drag down, short. Pinar pouncing all over it. The man in the deep at mid-wicket had too much work to do running to his left, and it goes away for a boundary.
So the Atlanta 5, if they win this game, they will be unbeaten in the series so far. They'll take on the Somerset Cavaliers tomorrow. The Philadelphians will move on with their fixture against the Atlanta Lightning. So still another day's play remaining tomorrow. And if you're keeping your eyes on East Bay and Lone Star Athletics, well, that's coming up next on this pitch. And Brian, we've seen some very good cricket from the Lone Star team, and we'll talk about that, of course, when their turn comes up. But for now, the Atlanta Fire seemingly on course for an unbeaten streak so far.
It would certainly seem to be that despite their best efforts, they're going to end up winning this game. Obos Pinar, I think, is the key from here on, just to steady the ship.
And we saw last year this Atlanta Fire lineup made it to the very last game when they were beaten by the Seattle Thunderbolts, who has been knocked out of the tournament this year. So we could be seeing a new champion this year. We've seen Silicon Valley. Well, they're still in the hunt, actually. So Silicon Valley, we saw Silicon Valley. We saw Seattle Thunderbolts, but they're knocked out. So who is aiming for that last spot this year?
Oh, you know my answer already. So it'll be interesting to get clarification on Corey Anderson's availability, and I'll try to get that sometime between now and the end of the day.
And Brian, I'm surprised when I was building up my prediction of saying that probably I'm leaning in the direction of Mustang. You're inches away from me. You never gave me that inside information that Corey Anderson hasn't been playing.
Look, with or without Corey Anderson, the Dallas Mustangs have a really strong team and are probably the favorites, I think.
Ooh. So ball in the air, well away from the fielder. Ryan Scott will come around. And this over's gone for 7 so far from the left-arm spinner, Abdul Jabbar.
And he has bowled well. Both left-arm spinners, Rajnanan, 4 overs, 2 for 19. And Abdul Jabbar now with 2 more balls remaining. In fact, 1 more ball remaining in his spell, 1 for 16.
So we
attack back and strike.
So we come down to the last 36 runs. Gets an edge is Jay Patak. So that will complete 15. And after 15, it's 84 for 4. So Devashwari Prasad gets another bowling spell. His first over went for 9. We saw him getting a 5-wicket haul yesterday, Brian. 5 for 19.
Interesting that in this passage of play, they've gone to an all left-arm attack. Slanting the ball across the right-hander is what the Pacers have done. And then the spinners are looking to pitch the ball from around the wicket on the stumps and having it leave. So I like the innovative captaincy, trying to do anything to prize out a couple more wickets. You asked a couple overs ago whether or not this game is over. The game is not over until the Philadelphians get 10 wickets or the Atlanta Fire gets another 36 runs.
So Patak comes in back to strike. It's all a left-handed affair.
Yep.
And Brian, did you bat left?
I did bat left. I bat and bowl left. Or batted and bowled left. I don't use it anymore.
So ball steered away. That's a good looking shot. Fielder does well to restrict the batter to only a single. Appears to be Derek Narain. And 34 to win from 28 balls. Pinar has played a good hand. Don't be fooled by just 15 on the board. Context is everything sometimes, Brian.
Context is indeed everything, and he knows that he has a capability of accelerating if he needs to. What is going to be more important now is that with that required rate, a little bit of a concern going up, he manages the situation accordingly. So you see there, right when that ball was delivered, he stepped down, trying to change the conversation, trying to make Prashad do something differently, stepping down and in fact affecting the line that was bowled.
So 33 to win from 27 balls. We've seen 3 singles off this over. And during yesterday's commentary, myself and Peter Della Pena, we were talking about the instance when a team wins all their game in this phase for a perfect record, that they could be the team heading up to Dallas on Sunday. And we're down into day 2, and if the Atlanta Fire wins here this afternoon, Brian, they're on course to probably better the other teams with more wins coming in to tomorrow's final day's play.
Certainly in the Atlantic Conference that would be the case. Oh, good Stopped there by the captain.
And you get the feeling, you look at Jonathan Fu, he has looked gingerly all day. And you get the feeling that he's a bit immobile for the time being because of might be some hamstring or foot injury for the time being. So the 16th over comes to a close. It's 88 for 4. They need 32 to win the Atlanta Fire.
Boy, Lenny, when you are chasing 120 runs in 120 balls, you would not think that it would cause a big, heavy-hitting side much trouble. But all of a sudden, this game is much closer than one would think. Atlanta Fire still need another 32. They only have 24 balls in which to get them. Thankfully for them, they have 6 wickets in hand.
So Jonathan Fu, the captain, comes in back to the attack. 1 over from him, cost him 10 runs. And look at this, add 6 to that. Jay Patak times as well. And he hits the trailer hard. And that has gone away for 6. Lovely shot from Jay Patak.
I mentioned earlier, Jay Patak is a top order batter. And he's able to handle himself very well with the bat. This one drifting in from around the wicket. Again, the line is the issue for me here. From around the wicket, you want that ball pitching on off stump or maybe fourth stump. That was too straight, would have missed the pads altogether. Oh, look at this. Jay Patak trying to repeat the dosage. This is not the same delivery from the one that he missed, that he hit for 6. This one was much more on target, on middle and off, playing the same shot, missing, and loses his middle stump.
So another wicket goes down. Wicket number 5, Jay Patak. Very careless looking shot. Slugging across the line of a delivery on the stumps. And Jonathan Fu makes a breakthrough here. Can it still matter for the Philadelphians? They're defending 26 from 22 balls. As now Corny Dry wants to the middle.
Exactly. So that type of shot is on if the ball is not on the stumps. If it is drifting down the leg side, then that gives you the opportunity to play that type of shot. If it is on the stumps, you essentially are committing suicide by playing that shot because you're playing a cross-batted shot to a ball that is that full. I would say 6 times out of 10, you'll miss that shot. So Obaspinar, interestingly, walking halfway to the boundary to meet Corny Dry and exhorting him. You could see his body language saying, we cannot lose, this partnership cannot be broken. We have to stay here together. So in fact, it was Corny Dry who was at the wicket, who struck a 4 and a 6 to win the game yesterday. So he's been in this position before. And you would think that with the maturity of Obaspinar at the other end, and Corny Dry, who again has played a lot of cricket, primarily a bowler, but can handle the bat as well. So it is going to be up to this pair to take things home from here.
So Corny Dry gets off the mark, looking for a couple of runs. They come back. Abdul Jabbar under pressure there, and a couple of runs there for Corny Dry. Brings the equation down to 24 to win from 21 balls.
Corny Dry would not have expected the scoop shot from the first delivery phase. Did not expect that at all, but it's effective. He gets 2 runs.
And he runs quickly behind the sticks. Oh, driven into the onside, just eluding Jonathan Fu. He was in the air for a moment. And Fu has gone for 9 in this over, 23 to win. A win will put the Atlanta Fire with 2 wins in 2 games, with 1 coming up tomorrow. And the Philadelphians will not get points for this one. They will lose their their first game of the series of this phase by just scoring 119 earlier on. We made mention how 119 has really played in twice in 2 days for this team. We saw yesterday the Cavaliers posting 119, and we saw today the Philadelphians getting to 119. So is that a good number for the Philadelphians?
It's turning out to be a good number. You get the sense that had they scored another 10 or 15 runs, we're talking about a completely different game. And I still think that the Atlanta Fire wins this, but it's going to be very tricky from here. A single to close things out. Over number 17 is done. 10 from the over. Importantly, a wicket. 98 for 5 after 17.
So 17 overs gone. It's 98 for 5, 22 to win, 18 balls remaining. Pinar is on 17, 98 for 5. Fire lost to the Seattle Thunderbolts last year in the final at Church Street Park. Brian, were you there?
I was there, but I was working on the production team. So I was in the trailer with all the bells and whistles. I was not able to watch the game itself. I chose to not go that direction this time.
And Brian, you are really a lucky man, getting a chance to work at the top level with the production crew hanging around the trucks.
That is nowhere near as glamorous as it sounds, Len. It means that I'm in a truck with a bunch of people yelling and screaming and no ability to actually see the match. It is nowhere near as glamorous as it sounds, believe me.
And then I see you here at Prairie View working with Roddy Lalman.
No, that part is good. That is evidence of me being lucky. Yes, absolutely.
Wow, I wish for some of those connections. Oh, into the hands of the fielder. He is taking the catch. And a wicket goes down here. Corner dry, gone. It's 99 for 6.
99 for 6 indeed. Corner dry getting one on his pads. I don't necessarily have a problem with the choice of shot. It was there on the pad, so you deserve to have that type of shot played to it. But he ends up picking out the man at deep square leg. Here we'll see on the replay. Left arm over the wicket and whipped off his pads and picks out the one man in the deep on the leg side. A smart catch, diving forward and taking it inches above the turf. Another wicket goes down. My goodness, look at that celebration.
Yeah, Mario Rampersad, he's a top catcher. He's the wicket keeper for this team. And we saw him being used as one of the emergency fielder. Has really come up with a good catch. Mario Rampersad, he's the keeper. He's played at the first class level in the Caribbean. And so 99 for 6 as new batter walks to the middle. Could be Rishi Pandey, not too sure. We'll confirm that.
Mario, in fact, that should be Nasir Hussain.
Oh, Nasir Hussain walks to the middle. So can the Philadelphians defend 21? It will be an exciting game if they can.
This has come down to a really close match, a match that never should have been this close, but the Philadelphians are kicking and screaming. I said it before, the only way they win this is by bowling out the fire.
So Prashad in to Hussain. The throw comes in, not striking the stumps. We made the point how so many direct hits we've seen during 2 days of cricket here. And it comes down to 20 runs from 15 balls. Pinar on strike. And the 100 comes up here for the Atlanta Fire. And now, Brian, we'll have to just look on the side of the Philadelphians. If they win this game today, they could be that team that we were talking about, how good the Atlanta Fire is.
Yep.
So Pinar is going to stand between a win and a lose here for them. 19 to win from 14 balls. Nasir Hussain comes back into strike. And Prashad has gone for 3 in this over. He's picked up 1. He's picked up the wicket of Corner Dry. And it all comes down to 19 to win from 14 balls. Can the Philadelphians hold on to a very tight posting of 119 runs. Can they win with that on the cards?
All logic says that they shouldn't, but they're kicking and screaming the entire way trying to win this game. Pulled away in the deep, just over the head of deep, a short fine leg, and goes away for 4. My goodness, fortuitous runs there by Nasser Hussain. That is over the head of the field. I think that's Sarpul Islam at short fine leg, and it runs away for 4.
Yeah, short ball from Prashad, probably not the required line.
Or length, importantly.
And he's paid a hefty price for that one. That one has gone away for 4.15 to win. And ball cut away into the offside. Passes the fielder. And that's a very fast outfield here at field 1. And that has gone away for 2 consecutive 4s off the bat of Nasser Hussain.
Important runs. Short, wide, 4. Really lovely looking late cut with some power. So it races away in that backward point area. And that is an important way to close things out here in over number 18. 11 runs needed from the last 12 balls. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back.
So 11 runs to win. Jonathan Fu will continue. Next match up at Field 1, East Bay Blazers will take on Lone Star Athletics. And that game comes up, what, at Brian? 2:15, 2:30?
Exactly. Scheduled for 2:15 as Jonathan Fu defends to Obaspinar. Obaspinar, again, everything is on his shoulders, you would feel. 19 from 26. Strike rate of about 67, so you don't need to strike it at 100 or 150 from here. You just simply need to get 10 runs before the next 11 balls are bowled.
We've seen a couple of 4s off the bat of Nasser Hussain, so while you're looking at the solid Pinar, Nasser Hussain has come and want to finish this one a bit early, Brian.
9 from 3, so he's striking it at a 300 rate. Make that 9 from 4 after that ball. But doing really well here. Playing a good foil to Obaspinar. Slapped into the deep, square legged or mid-wicket in position. Fumbles it out there, so they give up a couple runs.
Yeah, you're beginning to feel that the Philadelphians know that this one is going to be a tough one to defend. And boy, they've tried so hard to really defend 119. Just doesn't find it will probably hold up here. And look at that. A massive strike from Nasser Hussain. He continues to look for the boundaries. And he picks up another one. That's a good strike for 4.
Lovely strike for 4. So now you're only 1 stroke away from this game being finished. So a flourish at the end here by Nasser Hussain. The ball is lofted over the top of extra cover. Jonathan Fu getting this one outside the line of off. Hammered away for 4. Back to live action. Just a single now down to Ryan Scott. So just 3 more runs remaining. And I always thought that 119 was not going to be enough, Lenny. The Philadelphians have fought really hard in the field, aided by some injudicious stroke play by the Fire. But it appears that the Fire are going to take this one.
So Nasser Hussain has really come out and play a quick cameo. 16 off 7 balls. The 19 comes to a close. And it's 117 for 6. 3 runs needed. So we come down to the last 3 runs here for his second win of this phase by the Atlanta Fire. Swarna has been given the ball. And Sivaram Swarna with 3 runs to win, 117 posted by the Atlanta Fire. And Brian, of course, the wicket here at field 1 will take some rolling to get ready for the next game. East Bay Blazers, they take on Lone Star. And I heard umpire Billy Taylor say during the course of the inning break in the previous game, and we'll talk about that. Here is Swarna to Nazir Hussain, and into the offside. They could run 3 here and they come back for a couple of runs. And I heard umpire Billy Taylor say, well, heavy roller or light roller,
right.
It all depends who is on the roller.
Well, the scores are level here, 119 each with 5 balls to go. The next run of any flavor wins this match. And the next run of any flavor happens to be a wide. So a bit of an anticlimactic end, Lenny, as the Atlanta Fire takes victory by the margin of 4 wickets in the game that really we didn't think should have been this close, but that is the end of the game. Handshakes all around. Atlanta Fire wins it by 4 wickets.
Yeah, we've seen a good quick knock from Mohammed Hussain, 18 off 8 balls, but Pinar has been solid. And we spoke about context. When you look at the card, it's only 20 runs, Brian, but the context, you've got to be here or follow the game to really know how important it was. So here we go. Stephen Taylor at the top of the order got a very important 30. We saw Aaron Jones solid as ever. He got 28, but look towards the end, Pinar 20. Jay Patak came in and give us a quick look of how 10 can be scored quickly off 7 balls. And in the end, Nazir Hussain not out on 18.
So brilliant bowling effort, led from the front by the captain. 2 overs, 1 for 4. The former captain, Lynn Plunkett, 2 overs, 1 for 4. And for me, the spinners, and particularly the left-handed spinners, Rajnanan, 4 overs, 2 for 19. Fu, a little bit expensive, 3 overs, 1 for 28. Abdul Jabbar Mohammed, 1 for 16. And Prashad, 3 overs, 1 for 24. But the second and third names on that lineup, Sivaram, Swarna, a little bit too expensive and no wickets taken. So overall, a pretty straightforward victory. Should have been a straightforward victory actually, but made more difficult. But at the end, the only thing that matters is what the final result is. Final result is that the Philadelphians go down in a heap to the Atlanta Fire. Atlanta Fire winning by the margin of 4 wickets.
So match summary, we saw a good knock from Raj Nanan, getting 26 out of that 119. Liam Plunkett got 23. Rajdeep Darbar 21 out of that 119. Stephen Taylor stands tall again. He's played a good hand for 30. Aaron Jones 28, and of course Obos Pinar, he got 20. So we'll get ready for the second game of the day on this field. With the news, East Bay Blazers will take on Lone Star. And Brian, one question before we sign off here for now.
Yes, sir.
Light roller, heavy roller? How do you decide that?
It matters who is on the roller. See you in a minute, Lenny.
So we'll be right back at about 2:15 time. I hope you will stay with us. And 119 put on. Oh, the stumps! And Taylor cracks this one into the offside, finds the gap, and look at that. That has gone away for 4. So a lovely shot into the offside, vacant area.
Oh, what a lovely shot. What an absolutely lovely shot. Very little flourish.
Tournament. Sliced away. That's a good looking shot from Aaron Jones.
Between the wickets when Philly was batting. This is swept away though, powerfully. That's not...
So Taylor decides to go into the hands of Liam Plunkett. Oh, look at this. Into the onside. Straight into the hands of...
Generally bowled well. 5 extras as this is lofted into the deep. 1 bounce for 4. Oh my goodness. So he tries the reverse sweep, misses out, gets... In fact, that is Jamar Hamilton across the spin to get the ball coming in this direction.
It's a bit of a leading edge, no score. Rajanana's bowled pretty well in this over.
They won it without much fuss. Oh, looking to sweep, given him. Aaron.
And ball pulled into the onside, running up towards the mid-wicket boundary. The fielder gives up the chase.
Missed the pads altogether. Oh, look at this, Jay Patak.
I wish for some of those connections. Oh, into the hands of the fielder.
The entire way trying to win this game. Pulled away in the deep, just over the head of deep.
The ball cut away into the offside. Passes the fielder. And that's a very fast outfield here. Doesn't find it will probably hold up here. And look at that. A massive strike from Nazir Hussain. He continues.
You're watching the Sunoco Minor League Cricket Championship, brought to you by our 2023 partners.